Let's kick this thing off. Mic test 1 2. New Joe Biden. Let's do a test. Da 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 da. Stream latency. Latency, wait and see. Seems it's okay. Okay. Prioritize performance. I would like that for you. Okay. We're going to be giving Zelda another try. This time we want to make sure we got sound on point. This game's got a very nice soundtrack. At least like the little piano hints in it. So I want to hear that nice and subtle in the background, but at the same time I want to actually give it a good try to enjoy it. It's the final boss. I started playing this almost a year ago, I think. I put it down. Oh yes, before we continue that, let's do our sound checks. Man, you can hear me breathing. Hey, what's up? Wait a second. Do you know what's strange? I can see... Oh. I was about to say, that is very unusual. Imagine that. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Now let's do our soundtrack. That'd be so cool. In the future, that'd be a reality. Say, yo, when did we get blessed like that? Let's use this. Test. 1 2 1 1 1. We have to bring the caller volume up a little bit. Test 1 2. Normal talking voice. Actually, test. That's probably a bit more like it. We want it to bounce just in the yellow. And we want to hear our game. It's kind of sad I have to do this every time. Test. Test. There we go. Now that's more like it. Yeah. Cool. What's up? How you doing, Chop? Alright, I'm gonna learn how to play this game again. One way or another. It's been a long time. That does that. Got no bow. No, it's gotta be in range. There. Okay. What's the food situation looking like? Yeah, you gotta make meals and stuff. I don't think this is gonna be a type of game I can play while I'm streaming, or at least while I'm talking to people. It's too complicated. Okay. Let's go find Ganondorf. Ganondorf. Get that map up. Where is he? shit though. That way. Ooh. One sec, bro. I'll accept the request in just a minute. See if we can get to a safe space. What's a firmament? Oh, bro cancelled his request. That's totally fine too. Now, let's have a look at that map again. I think the game volume should be decent, just at the right amount. So you can hear me breathing like a whatever, breathes heavily. Hopefully you can hear the game. Where's the entry point? Why would it be a glass dome in space? That doesn't make any sense. How the hell would you even get glass in space in the first place, bro? It's a bit ridiculous, don't you think? Ah, it's rot. Oh, what's the target button? Ah, this is why I can't play this game while I stream. Ooh, my sword's glowing. That's new. This game is quite hard to play. There you go. Unless you get like perfect parries consistently. Oh, how did that happen? That worked. When they start talking about aliens, right? Even if there are aliens, that still doesn't prove a god exists. I think that would lower the probability of a god, at least a Christian god, Jewish god, Muslim god. If there's aliens, then that god doesn't exist. To be fair, that god doesn't exist anyway, but I think that aliens would lower the probability of that significantly. No, what we're gonna do is, I think it's because that guest got a violation last time, so it kind of messed up the stream. But I'm totally fine with no one being here. At least we can enjoy this game. What is shooting? What's that? Don't run. Oh, he disappeared. Ah, we're gonna need to change our armor. This ain't working. This ain't it. Why is it not true, Triple X? What makes you think that? There was something we could use as well that reduces it. Dunno, Logan. What do you think happens? You ever met anyone that's died? What? There's more? What direction should we go? What the? Blackout. Oh, I'm gonna break my sword. That was the other thing I really disliked about this game. How the weapons just constantly break. They just force you to keep making silly weapons. How can a weapon, the main game weapon, the Master Sword, break before the bloody fight? It's annoying as hell. What? That took bare damage. Now I'm gonna play Dark Souls in a minute. Or maybe Elden Ring. Jump on it. Oh, my good weapon's gonna break. Nah, I never played it. Yeah, demons don't exist. Humans made up demons as well. What should we use? Maybe that. Okay, where is the entry point then? Jump down from up there. Am I deterministic? What does that mean? Are you saying, do I believe in determinism? TVs definitely lie. So do religions, bro. Oh, that's not good. Where might the entrance be, though? I bet it's somewhere just blatantly obvious that you run past. Seems to be a road here. Up me. Bro said uppies. He didn't request though. Right, 1 second. We're gonna restart the stream in a minute anyways. So let's give this a quick test. Hello?
Yeah, what's up? You can hear me?
How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling. What's it called? You said that humans invented God. When you say God, are you talking about the classical theistic version of God?
I'm just using God as a category definer for all kinds of deities.
Okay, so then I would obviously reject then the classical theistic position on that, because you could just prove God independently, and that would be independent of human invention.
So explain it to me.
Oh yeah, we could just give you the argument of both of them. So
Oh, I'm not really interested in like logical syllogisms. I don't find them to be proofs of God's existence.
well, how so? It's a deductive argument. It shows you by the premises and its evidence that it leads to its conclusion.
Yeah, see, the thing is with rationalist type of approaches, you can't actually prove something exists in that way. You could just show your reasoning. That's all you could do.
I mean, yeah, we could prove how men are mortal. Like, you could really prove that. And that
Yeah,
could
I'm
be
aware of
done
that.
through empirical data.
I'm aware of that, but if you were to...
Yeah, but that could be done through a logical argument. It's the same thing.
Yeah, like I said though, me personally, I don't take rationalist arguments or like syllogisms from like an analytical philosophy to be a proof of something's existence. Because you could like change the thing you're trying to prove with a different thing and you'd get the same answer because of the way it's structured. It's like a language game, really.
But that's the whole point of logic, is that it doesn't allow for that, is that it's fixed.
Yeah, I don't think that will help in trying to prove the existence of God. If it would, we would never be having this conversation.
I mean, it does, but unless you're do you utilize another method to try to get the main object of God? Like, you use a scientific method to try to figure out God's existence? Because that would be flawed.
Yeah, probably. Once we define what God is in the first place.
But that's flawed. Why would you use material data or try to acquire material data from something immaterial?
See, the problem is with me, right? I'm not the one that's trying to prove the existence of this thing. I've got a good explanatory claim on what it is, right? And I understand it to be that. So for the person trying to prove, for the person trying to prove the existence of this thing that they claim to exist, the burden is on them. But like I said, me personally,
I could provide that, or I could provide that evidence, but
no, I wouldn't.
Dishonesty
Like I said,
is
I
on
wouldn't.
part of using a scientific method. Why would you utilize a scientific method to try to figure out something immaterial?
Yeah, I wouldn't take a rationalist argument to be a proof of a supernatural entity either. For instance, like you could make a you can make a deductive argument about. Well, not even a deductive, because it's just like you're talking like Philbro language, and I'm not a Philbro. I'm just a normal guy. Okay, but that being said, you can make an argument like so you could a priori reason to an uncaused cause, right? But being able to
No, I
reason to an
can't.
uncaused
I reject
cause,
that.
I'm not saying you personally. Make an example here. You could reason to an uncaused cause, say, oh, there must be this first thing that set everything off in motion, right? If you think about causality linearly, right? But just being able to reason to that and then develop an argument for that doesn't make it a fact, and that could be said for many different things. And I'm not saying logic is useless. I would never say that. I'm just saying I don't find it beneficial in these conversations. I think that's for a specific type of people, and I'm not one of those people.
I mean, but the claim that you just made was based off of like empirics, like meaning to say like stance independent things, like objects in reality. So how could it merely just be like an
To
opinion
me, what you
or
just
something
said
that's
was
probable
fluff.
to change?
With all due respect, what you just said was absolute fluff. What did you
Saying
actually mean
something
to say?
extramental is like fluff. How's that fluff?
What
I'm
did you
just telling you
What
that
did
the
you mean to
argument
say?
that you just spoke
Speaking
about,
like a normal language.
the argument that you just spoke about is something which is dependent upon extramental items, as in to say reality, things which are not dependent on an agent's mind. So how could that be prone to change?
You're right. So you're just waffling, right? So what did I say? I said
How
you
am I
could
waffling? I
reason.
just said what you
You
said.
could reason to an uncaused cause, right? In simple layman terms, right? But being able to reason to it doesn't mean it's a fact, like it's a reality, right? And the same
How's
could
this
be
responding to what I said?
because what you said was fluff. It didn't make sense to me. I'm
So
sure
you're
most people
wait,
who's
how are you
listening didn't
responding
make
to
any
something that's fluff?
sense of that either, right? I'm speaking about the point I'm speaking about. Right? If you're gonna be like,
So then you're not responding to
so
me.
yeah, I appreciate you for coming up, but you're just wasting time.
I mean, it's okay if you're confused.
Wasting time, bro. Like, so this kid's clearly young. You'd probably have more fun speaking to Monkey Boy. You'd probably get dashed around the room by Monkey Boy. But for me, I think a lot of you kids are being misled with this kind of approach to the conversation in general, okay? The conversation should be more pointed to what you believe, why you believe it. Rationalist approaches are good for academics or in, you know, intellectual pursuits, but they're not good in general conversations. The average person doesn't believe the things they believe because someone gave them a logical syllogism, right? It's way deeper than that. You're speaking about human culture and psychology, okay? But yeah, like that, what you're talking about is like linguistic games. I'm not really fun for that. Like, I don't really enjoy that kind of stuff. How you doing, Danny?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, bro.
Doing well. Thanks for asking. Just quick thing. My thing is, I just got a couple questions. Like, I'm a believer in Jesus, and I honestly think there's just so much factual evidence that he's real, and especially with, the Bible being written and stuff like that, there's a lot of facts starting to add up that we not necessarily thought would be true. I mean, for example, like with
Hold on,
AI and
hold that thought, bro. Hold that thought. 1 second.
okay.
Go ahead.
So, like, what I was saying is, like, with a lot of the stuff it talks about in the Bible, with Revelations and stuff, I think we're getting really close with that, and to where it's got me closer with God, to where there's no way all this information adding up couldn't been told before without a creator. For example, it's like it talks that we'll worship a statue that can talk, and it's like who like that seemed like when you're reading that, like, what in the world? But now with like AI and robots giving an image of beast the voice, I also think with the mark of the beast being talked in the Bible, it's like that is coming with digital IDs, to where
Oh, bro, you're
that
going off
right
the
there
deep
should
end.
just say, I'm just saying,
Going off the
Jesus
deep
is
end
like,
here.
I'm just saying it's said in there,
Gosh.
and it's an unforgivable sin, to where if you read that 1,000 years ago, you would have been like, what? This can't be real. To where now I just feel like as a logical human being,
Nah,
it's like
Kaya's a fanboy.
it's
Hey,
it
listen,
talks about
Danny.
this in the text.
Danny, bro, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but what I'm gonna ask you to do is come back in like 2 minutes. I'm gonna start the stream because we've changed the game. All right, so just like come back in 2 minutes and we can continue the conversation, if you wouldn't mind.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you. All right, so be right back, folks. Just gonna reboot. So sort that out now. Yo, what's up, Centaur? Oh yeah, we was gonna have that discussion, weren't we? All right. All right. Hopefully that Yeah, I find don't get me wrong, I'm interested in hearing the arguments, but how like most of those kids operate, it's kind of goofy. It's like yeah, it's very silly in my opinion. I've got a more interesting analysis of it, but I don't think it's worth going into right now. If we get into that another time, then maybe. But I think most of those kids that operate in that kind of feel bro mentality, they're being misled for a reason. But that's just an opinion. That's more of like a cultural critique. Now the pursuit of like philosophy is definitely valid, worthy, for sure. But then how you go on to use those skills, what you intend to use them for, now that's where it gets dubious. Right? Why would you spend your time studying metaphysics, philosophy, etc., to then go and buttress like basically a really destructive institution? There's a reason these kids are being funneled into that kind of stuff. But we'll talk about that another time. Like that guy could literally give a lot of the same arguments you use for metaphysical entities into like arguing for fairies or arguing for zombies or arguing for Superman. It's interchangeable because it's ultimately just a word game. It's like actually it's just maths, right? Logic, analytical philosophy is fundamentally just maths. And people who approach it like maths understand exactly what it's meant to be used for. It's not really good for public reasoning. It's for like academics. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You sound like you're upset. So be upset over there. Alright, so anyways, what was I going to do? I was going to sound check. 1, 2. Alright, we're good. Right, is this dungeon actually worth doing? What was at the end of it? Right, let's go back. Yo.
Yo,
Welcome back,
I'm
man.
back.
Thank you for waiting.
No
Appreciate
problem. So yeah, I just kind of want to know what you think with that, where it also says in the Bible you won't be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. To where I think in 3 years, digital IDs, like I said, if you don't sign up for it and you get, the mark, you won't be able to. To where what's your
But they said
thinking
that,
on that?
didn't they say that back in the day about like digital banking and bank cards and credit cards?
Yeah, but I know that that's an argument for people, but this is like a physical mark on your right hand or
Yeah.
forehead.
People said that about barcodes as well.
Yeah, but you don't have that on you don't put that physically on you.
Some people
Like,
do. Do you know like how many people had tattoos, like binary code tattoos
I
put
get that,
onto
but
them
it
in the
specifically
past?
says right hand and forehead, to where
Yeah.
not every, like you
Again,
won't be,
but
and it says too, you won't be able to buy or sell. So people have a
that's
debit card
fine.
that has a barcode
That's totally
and you can still
fine.
buy.
That's totally fine. But why don't we ask ourselves, why wasn't the Bible trying to dismantle capitalism in the first place then? If it felt that way.
Because listen, God gave us free will, and the reason we have free will is to
Oh,
make
that's
mistakes.
the
We're all
favorite excuse.
sinners.
That's the favorite excuse. This topic's too difficult. Free will.
I mean, my thing is, Joe. Look, do you think if the world was perfect and we had no problems, do you think you would need a
Right. So
God?
so let's look at
No.
let's
So
look at it like this,
it
right?
pushes you closer to
Why
Him.
why would right? So from my point of view, free will is not even possible under Christian paradigm, anyways, right? So that's just like a total cop out
Really?
answer.
So you can't go outside and punch someone in the face
That's not free
just
will.
because. That is free will. You
No,
can. No one
right.
is
So
stopping you from
me
doing
personally,
that.
right, as a non-philosopher,
Yes.
a non-theologian, when I say free will, I'm talking about the ability to act unconstrained by necessity or fate or at one's own discretion. Right? Christianity doesn't provide that type of free will on two levels. One, some people would argue based on God's, I think it's omniscience or basically everything, knowing everything, that it's impossible. But the other like internal critique of that would be, if God is all powerful and the ruler and the setter of all plans, then the individual human's will would never be able to outpower the Creator's will. All things that could possibly happen, good or bad, would be because it willed it. So like a kind of dichotomy that gets presented based on that would be like, okay, it's either God couldn't stop Adam and Eve from eating the apple or the fruit, or he wanted them to eat the fruit, right? Free will included, because the will of the whole scenario playing out the way it played out would be God's will. Just like you going on the street and punching a guy in the face would be God's will
Right,
too.
but if he
So
stopped
it wouldn't
everything,
really be
nothing bad
your
would
free
ever
will.
happen.
It wouldn't
We
really
have
be
faith
free
in
will,
him.
would it? It would be because a creator or an all-powerful entity wants that to take place, wouldn't it?
I mean, I disagree. I think too, it's the fact that he allows us to make our own decisions. Because if he didn't do that, then he would be running our lives, and
But he is
that's not being
ultimately.
human.
He is.
And
So
then
so would
two,
you
no, he's
so would you
not.
say God does? So you're saying God doesn't
He
have a
doesn't
plan?
stop car
Wait, are you
accidents
saying God
because he
doesn't have a
knows they
plan, bro?
happen.
But are you saying God doesn't
But
have a
then
plan,
two, it also says in the
bro?
Bible that
Are you
Satan
saying?
runs this world.
Are you saying God doesn't have a plan for all people?
I think he already knows everybody's plan. It's
So,
already
but
written for
he
everybody.
exactly. He
He said
has
he
a plan.
knows you
There you
before you
go.
come out of the womb.
There you go. So that like literally dismantles your own argument about free
It
will.
doesn't. How?
Because it's his plan. That's the point. It's literally the point. It's not your plan. It's his plan. Anything good that happens would be because he planned it. Anything bad happens, it would be because he planned it. All right. That's the point.
Well, no, Satan is also playing a role. There's
So
people that are they're demonic entities on here
Satan
that
is
do bad
also
things.
Satan is also an expression of God. He's also a creation of God, right? Some people would look at Satan as a direct representation of God, just in another form, like in a mechanistic way, as Zoroastrianism, a dualistic view. It's the same entity, just the other side of it. Just like God could will for bad things to happen in your life, he could will for good things to happen in your life. You assign the bad things to Satan and the good things to God. But the Satan is still an expression of God. It's his creation anyway.
I mean, he was the fallen angel, his right hand man, and was sent down here, and now he's pissed off and he's deceiving
Yeah,
people.
but it would be God's plan too.
Because you don't take any of this stuff with you. It's a materialistic
bro,
world, and none of it matters. To where, if you think about it, you don't even remember, the first president of the United States, like conversations. You just know very little things about him because everybody thinks
that's not relevant though, is it?
Okay, then what about like the Shroud of Turin that just came, where they don't
Just
even have
came,
Jesus'
bro.
body?
That's been around for centuries.
I know, but they found the sheet with his body imprinted on
Bro,
there.
look,
And
I personally, I don't believe in any of that. I think that's a lot of fake stuff, and I think scientists have actually debunked that anyways. But even if that was the case, finding a shroud of Turin wouldn't actually prove the existence of God.
No, but
and it also
missing
wouldn't
the
prove
point, the fact
Jesus
that his
was God
body is
either.
not here.
So
His
what-
body's not here.
like,
He's
bro, that's such a
left.
silly argument. That's a silly argument, bro.
It isn't, because 500
is,
people saw
bro.
him walking around
In the
and come out
Bible,
of a tomb.
in the Bible, no witness has anything to say about that outside of the Bible.
Really? So you believe history, and history was written by people that
Yeah.
that saw it and that are dead. So you're being biased.
No,
You're
I'm not being
choosing stuff that you
biased.
wanna believe.
All right, so what you need to understand is this, right? A lot of people get this mixed up. The Bible is not a history book. It's a religious text written with a theological agenda. There can be real events in there, real people, real places, but fundamentally the Bible is not about giving you a history. You could argue that the Torah and like the things that surround Judaism are more inclined to be attuned with their history, their specific tribe, but the Bible itself is not a history book, and neither is the Torah, in my opinion, as well. But the way the Torah is dealt with in Judaism is different to how the Bible is dealt with in Christianity. So that separation needs to be quite obvious. So if the Bible says stuff about 500 witnesses, that's in the context of the Bible telling a story or metaphor, an allegory, or whatever it's trying to display to you. It doesn't mean there were actually 500 witnesses. Not saying there wasn't, but that takes place within the context of the Bible. So if you was like reading some other book, it's like, yeah, I was there and I saw when they executed this man from the Middle East, and it was like crazy, and he rose from the dead, right? That's a little bit different. It's all like Tacitus, Josephus, but they're talking about things people told them as well, So it's
still kind of, there's actual human beings that are saying they saw this. It's just the fact that you didn't hear it in the way that you wanted to hear it, or it was written.
No, that's not the problem. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
So what do you think? How do you think we got here? You think science, that we just evolution over time?
I don't know. I think a naturalistic explanation defeats a creationist story anytime. And
because there has to be a creator for everything. It's in science.
All right,
you can't just.
So if you think that's true, who's the creator for God then?
Holy Spirit, the Father. He is the Holy. He is all three of them.
See, but that's what I mean. You don't actually think that's true, that everything needs a creator.
I do.
Right?
I
You just
do
think that applies to like humans and animals and stuff, right? But you don't actually think that's true. Just
okay,
like
why
the
was
next thing
Jesus
is
born by a
you don't think something can come
virgin,
from nothing, like,
and he has XY chromosomes to where you can only
bro. He
have
would,
a boy if you
bro.
can only have a boy if a male has sex.
Bro, you're
Abraham did not
trolling,
do that.
man. You are
I'm not.
trolling.
I'm just saying, dude, you're pointing all the facts that you want to think that it's not true, and that's fine. I'm just trying to let you think when the mark of the beast comes out, you have to
Right.
put two
So,
and two
all right. So,
together.
what should I think the beast is in the first place?
So you won't be able to buy or sell. So, and like once this economy ends,
So,
they're going to put us on a stipend, and the only way you get that stipend is if you
do you mean
sign up for the list.
universal basic income?
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
Control. They
Well,
have full
do you
control
think
over
you're
you.
not fully controlled already?
No, I mean I still can go. Don't have to. I
Or,
don't have to abide fully by the system.
so
But they
why?
now
So why didn't God say, you know what? There's a better way to run economic systems than capitalism. It's like there's a
because
better way than
because
feudalism.
this
So there's a
world is
better way than
temporary.
slavery, right? So then why does the mark of the beast even matter then? Doesn't matter then, does it?
This world is ran by Satan, and the fact
Bro.
is, it's a materialistic world, and people want to live forever.
All right,
And God
say
did
that's
not
true.
intend that.
Say that's true, right? That the world is run by Satan. It would still default back to what we were saying earlier on. Satan is an expression of God. So Satan running the world would also be part of God's plan, would it not?
I don't think he's an expression. He's an actual that's a fallen angel.
For
That
something
thing is
God
here.
made, bro. So for you to be able to
We're
say,
God made, dude, and we can walk around. We're God made.
but for you to say that Satan can like upend God's plans is saying that God isn't God. That's what you're saying, right? So anything that Satan could possibly do is because God allows and permits for it, right? Or plans it in the scheme, or else he couldn't be God. Because you're saying a human could disrupt God. You're saying Satan could disrupt God. Then God isn't the type of God you're talking
Because
about. He's a
we
minor
have
G,
sin
not a
down
major
here.
G.
We killed Jesus. Our own humans killed Jesus. So that's how sinful this place is.
Yeah, it
Dude.
doesn't make any sense, bro.
He lived 33 years on this earth, lived an unsinful life, the only person to ever do that, and then was killed by
I don't know, bro.
humans.
That's a story, right? Me personally, what I understand a sin to be is a transgression of a God's moral law. If the God is what's in question here, right, we can't have any sin by biblical standard. You can have like a cultural sin maybe, but not a biblical sin. So like that whole way of thinking is what's in question in the first place, you know?
So you think after we died and everything just goes dark and it's over?
I think it's more likely than you like being teleported to some fancy place or some terrible place. I think it's more likely. Just like, you know, if you've ever been unconscious, it'd probably be similar to that maybe. Maybe painful prior to it, but
I got you. All right.
how would I
this
know?
is a
You
good
know?
conversation. I appreciate it, honestly, and
No, I
I just want
appreciate
you
you,
to be a
bro.
little. You're a smart dude. You are, and I
Nah,
get where you're coming from, but
I
too,
will
it's
take
keep
that,
your
but I
open
appreciate you.
mind. I think there's a reason you're doing this, and it's good because you're keeping an open mind. So
Well, I appreciate that, but open minds can be dangerous, right? Open minds can lead you to gullibility and into dangerous places in life. So your mind protects you
very
from bad
true. But
ideas
as
for a
somebody
good
that
reason.
wasn't fully into Christ, 10 plus years ago, and then kind of gotten closer with him for, it's just changed in a way to where I think the more you keep yourself open-minded, you can see both sides of the story,
Oh,
and that
I'm
way.
not against hearing other sides, Ross. I wouldn't spend my time
No, I
talking
know,
to
and that's
people
why I
who
enjoy. That's why I
disagree with what I
you being
think.
open-minded. I think that it's good that you're asking these questions because it's you're seeing both sides. So I just appreciate that, and I hope you have a blessed day. Also,
I
cool dude.
appreciate you, man. Enjoy your Sunday, Danny, bro.
Yeah, you
Take
too,
care.
man.
Oh, Z, Sleepy Z. Hello, my friend.
Bro,
Oh, you sound kind
finally,
of young,
hi.
bro. How old are you?
What?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 19.
Don't cap. Chat, do you think she's actually 19 or he?
Bro, come on now. Just because I don't sound 19 doesn't mean I'm not 19.
I mean,
I'm here to answer all your questions as a Muslim.
I don't have any questions, but sure.
I doubt it.
Right.
Bro, get her. What do you mean get her off? I waited for long.
All right. So, what do you actually want to talk about? I don't particularly have any questions for you.
Yeah, I know. Because this is just a stupid live and you just yap. But
Wow.
anyways. If you
That
have
sounds
any
like a 19-year-old
questions,
response.
I can answer anything about God.
About God.
Yep.
All right. So, why does Islam plagiarize Judaism and Christianity?
Wait. Hold up. What?
Why does Islam plagiarize Christianity and Judaism?
What does that even mean, bro?
I thought you could answer
Why
any
are you
question.
comparing them?
It's not a comparison. It's a question.
Well,
Why does
I don't really
Islam?
get the question.
Okay, so Judaism comes
Stop laughing,
about,
please. I'm
right?
trying to understand.
Judaism comes about, right? About 1500 years after Christianity comes about. About 650 years after Christianity, Islam comes about. Within Christianity, there's a whole bunch of stuff from Judaism, right? To be fair, all three of them plagiarize other people, but Islam is the most well-documented plagiarism, right? So things in
Okay, that's the
Christianity
last one.
are found in Judaism, right? Or things in Judaism are found in Christianity. Things in both Judaism and Christianity are found in Islam. So the question I'm asking you, if God was speaking to Muhammad directly, right? Why does the Quran contain lots of plagiarized things from Christianity and Judaism? Why isn't it completely original?
It's not original because all of them are basically telling the same thing, but Islam was the last sent one, so it basically comprises all of them.
That sounds
Because
like
Bible was
plagiarism.
changed. What?
That sounds like plagiarism. Sorry, so I put it to you like this, right? Say,
Can you speak a little slower, please? English is not my first language.
no worries.
That's why I'm kind of
Say,
struggling.
have you ever heard of the movie Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Like with Frodo, like Gimli.
Oh, I don't know, bro.
So like
I'm
Lord
talking
of the
about
Rings.
real
I'm trying.
religions.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, this is as real as the religion can get, right? So, Lord
Okay.
of the Rings is written by a guy called Tolkien, right? Lord of the Rings is basically like a like a fantasy kind of book story, right? So he
Okay.
makes the first book. Well, he actually makes The Hobbit first, all right? So let's just pretend Tolkien makes The Hobbit, right? It's a movie, it's a book, it has its own world, it has different races in it, they have their own languages, they have their
Okay.
own beliefs, they have magic, they have blessings, they have curses, right? So it's like a religious text. Someone comes along, reads The Hobbit and says, you know what? I like what Tolkien has done here, right? And I like these characters. I like this story. I'm going to make The Hobbit Part 2, but I'm going to completely remove Tolkien's contribution to it. I'm just going to build my whole thing based on Tolkien's story, right? One would say that's plagiarism.
What is this?
That's an
This is-
analogy for what Islam is in comparison to Christianity and Judaism. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay, go on.
So, if, for instance, Muhammad or the people in the Middle East at the time were really into like what is being said in Christianity and Judaism, they could have easily just decided to become Christians or Jews, but they didn't, did they? They decided that they were going to take the ideas found in Judaism and in Christianity and build their own thing on it, which pertains to their region and their culture. So the question remains, right? If Islam is coming directly from God, why does it plagiarize Christianity and Judaism? Why isn't it completely original?
Bro, what do you mean original? It is sent for people, and if people need to understand it, it's like people have intelligence, right? But it's not unlimited. So God's words, God is an entity that is like, like humans and God and not the same thing, obviously.
Yeah, I would
So
agree.
God's
Well,
words
Christians
are
wouldn't, but
basically like turned into words that people can understand. That
yeah, that's
So it's a
suspicious to
book,
me.
but it has God's words so that people can understand it.
Yeah,
God could
But you
make
didn't
everyone.
answer the question. You didn't answer the
I
question.
did.
All right,
You're
so
not-
right, why would God need to repeat to Muhammad or whoever wrote down the Quran all the events that took place in Judaism and Christianity? Why don't you just say, here's what's going to happen going forward? Forget about what happened in the
Oh,
past.
you're asking the reason why this world exists and why the religions exist, or what? What do you mean repeating it?
All right, so Z.
Are you even trying to understand me? Because I'm trying to answer.
All right, so let's get off on a different foot here, right? I think humans invented God, right? It's called an explanatory claim.
Why do
I
you think
think-
that?
I think that because human psychology, based on a cognitive theory called hyperactive agency detection, archaeological findings from various cultures of the past, and then just generally studying human behavior and the patterns, the things we do, why we do them, best explain the concepts of God and God beliefs across human history. Why I have to hold that opinion is because there isn't significant evidence of God's existing independently of us humans creating them. So that being said, okay,
Go on.
why should I think the God that you believe in isn't an invention?
Because there are several proofs so that people can make sure. Like, everyone is born with something, like in a belief, like they're looking for someone to protect them.
Not
Like a
necessarily.
God. Yeah, it is necessary.
Well, if you think
When
that's
people say
true, the
they
explanation
don't
for that
believe
would
in,
be found in
can you let me
psychology.
speak?
Well,
Can you
it's,
let me
it's
speak?
important. It's important to interject in certain parts.
I'm not saying you have to believe in a God. I'm saying people are born with it, but you can choose if you want to believe or not.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. People are not born with it. It's something we develop and create and instill into other
No,
people.
how do you, why do you think that?
Like I just said, so the cognitive theory called hyperactive agency detection device, right, is based on humans assigning agency to celestial and elemental things. So an example of this is the ancestral mind. They were like out hunting and gathering, foraging or whatever, right? Let's say there's a hypothetical John and Jane. Jane sees a bush rustle, takes off running as soon as she gets the external stimuli. Why does Jane take off running? Because she's assigned agency to the bush. She's saying either there's a predator in the bush that could unalive me, or the bush itself is somehow animated and alive. John
Bro,
freezes.
hold on.
Listen,
What bush are we talking about?
it's an analogy. It's a metaphor to explain what
It
hyperactive.
doesn't make sense. It has nothing to do with what
I'm
I'm
getting
saying.
you there. I'm getting you there.
You're
Okay.
not. Okay, whatever, go on.
Right. So, humans have a built-in tendency to assign agency to things, okay? Simply put. Now, that built-in tendency is described as hyperactive agency detection device, and that is what we use to develop God concepts, the thing that you think we're born believing in already. We're not born believing in God concepts. We have to invent them, and then we have to impart them to other people through language or through artifacts. You're not born believing in a God. Okay,
I didn't say that.
that was what you kind of said earlier.
No, I was saying you're prone to, like, you're looking for something to believe in when you're born.
And I just explained what that is, what mechanism that is. Right,
We were
that's
talking about some machines and stuff.
no. So it's called hyperactive agency detection device, right? It's a cognitive theory coined by a guy called Justin Barrett. Okay, and it explains
question.
that tendency to look for things and then assign agency to them. Okay.
you a
Sure.
Christian?
What's the question? Of course not.
What are you?
I'm a
What's your
man.
religion?
I'm not in any religion.
Bro, I know. I can see you're a man. You're a manly man. You're like
Oh, thank you.
6'5", or whatever.
Nah, definitely
Like,
not.
come on.
The opposite. Turn them numbers around, alright? But nah,
Okay, so you
I'm
don't
not in any
believe
religion.
God.
No. I
I
think
can make
God's.
you
I
Muslim
think
if you
God's.
talk on DMs.
Hell no. Hell no.
Why?
Do you know how many Muslim people I grew up with? We've been talking about this topic of
Well,
metaphysical things since I was in
I'm
primary
friendly.
school,
I
right?
don't force you to be a Muslim, but
Yeah,
it's
you
the
would
right
never be
way, and
able
I can show
to.
you
I say that to say, right? I've grown up speaking to people way deeper in Islam than you could possibly ever imagine, right? And we've been
I
speaking
doubt
about
it.
these things since we were kids. There's no way I would ever capitulate and bow to any type of Abrahamic religion. I'm ideologically opposed to that, so that's not a possibility for me. Okay.
I really doubt it, because if you knew what I knew, then you would be Muslim.
No, I truly doubt that, right?
You're
But
laughing for
you're more
what,
than
bro? It's not
welcome to
funny.
share like why you think that would be the case.
I'm not trying to force, bro. Sam, I'm not forcing him.
My name is Set.
I'm not talking.
Oh, you're talking to Sam. Don't talk
Oh
to the
wait,
chat.
your name is Sam? Oh my
My
god.
name
Okay.
is Set, S-E-T.
Oh, okay. I was talking to Sam. Anyways.
Don't worry about the chat. With all due respect, chat.
Well, chat is low-key pissing me off, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna two-piece you if you're talking rubbish.
Whatever.
Alright, but anyways, alright. It was nice speaking to you, Z. We're gonna give someone else a chance to come up now, yeah?
No, I want to stay.
That's too bad. Alright, so thank you for coming on. Who was here? Oh, I think Alexis was here earlier. I think I saw you hit the follow button earlier on in the last stream, Alexis. Oh, maybe he's off somewhere else. Let's give him a minute. Hello?
Oh, I tried to join.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, background's kind of loud,
Hello,
bro.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a bit busy where you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Maybe I might catch you later, man. Get back to your show. I'm at work and I saw this and I was compelled to to interact.
All right, that's a good thing. But yeah, like let's not get in the way of your duties, alright? So come back up another time, bro.
Right.
No, I appreciate you.
True that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it is hot here, man. It's 29 degrees in this room. Oh, hello. Oh, that person left, I think. Hello, Fresh.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I was just listening to what she was saying about that. I don't know. I just get cringe about all these things. Like, I got a scare for my mom that she blocked me today because, like, every single day, if I start talking about how, like, I've just seen like the pattern and I've seen that this whole religious thing is just it's a hoax. She gets triggered at all that. But then she's the one every day praying for me in the name of God. You get in the okay, may Jehovah be with you and all that. And I'm like, okay, this thing that you people do, where I get it that because if I explain to her that yeah, your prayers might actually work, not because of any other thing, but your intention. Yes, the way I get the way intention and the universe, how this kind of thing works. But that's not even the point. Point is, every day, if we're having these conversations, and then I tell you my stand on it, you get triggered and all that. But every day, I'm telling you the same thing, and then you're imposing every day, trying to bully me with the name of your God, trying to bully me with the concept of your God, trying to bully me with yo, I don't get it. And then I don't see that when you see the pattern, like when you now see the way people get, how people get when they're defending their faith and all that, you see that there's really like there's a problem. This thing was designed. This thing is designed.
Oh, I agree, 100%. I think
It's
the people
designed.
who came up with the Abrahamic faith specifically had a very like serious understanding of human psychology and why humans do the things they do. I think they understood very well what they was doing when they designed it. And I think the various iterations of these faiths have just been upgrading as the information has been upgrading as well. So I would agree. It's not just an accident that people behave that way with their faith.
Exactly.
It's not an
Because
accident.
I tell people something very ironic. Growing up with Jehovah's Witnesses, they go into this deep, study about these things. They tell you about like they drop the clues. I keep telling them, especially when I'm talking to Jehovah's Witnesses, I tell them that most of the things, most of the information that the case that I've built over the years from childhood, because that's why I get angry because so many people don't see the pattern because I grew up having a special interest in Renaissance arts, in history, archaeology. So naturally, over the years, I've been able to see the pattern, like the way I see the pattern so clearly. Is very. I understand how it's going to be hard for somebody who, on an average, will not give a shit about that kind of stuff. Do you get?
Yeah.
Trying to say. So I keep telling them that what's very ironic is that the same people who told me growing up telling me about the world empire of false religion. It's something I learned about. But then the only problem is you're telling me about the world empire of false religion, but somehow, some way you've exempted yourself from it. Somehow, somewhere I'm supposed to believe that you're now different.
Wait, wait,
Please.
wait! I didn't catch the bit you said before, bro.
Okay, so growing up Jehovah's Witnesses, they always used to talk about the world empire of false religion.
What is that?
So what the problem? Okay, yeah. So the world empire of false religion, more or less, is what you call Babylon the Great, when the Bible talks about the harlots and all of
Okay.
that. So the thing is, when they told me, like, when they teach about this world empire of false religion, that's the Jehovah's Witnesses. They let you know that they obviously they are not part of it. So it's
I see
funny
what you're
because I
saying
feel
now.
like So I'm saying the world empire of false religion is actually real, but the only problem is you exempted yourself from it, and somehow I'm supposed to believe that you're different.
Yeah, it's true. That is true,
Yeah.
man.
So, yeah. So like, it's just.
But this
Oh,
not. Again, I think that does go back to the human psychology part of it. Like everyone,
yeah.
right? So religion creates an in-group, out-group politics. Like the people who are with us, who believe the things we believe, we reinforce each other's beliefs. Right? We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. So
Yeah.
it creates this
Exactly.
kind
They
of
give us pain.
yeah, because it
Yeah.
creates this in-group, out-group politic. People are unable to see that they might be exactly the same as the people that they're against, but just because they're in a different patina, right, or their team color looks different, they're automatically the enemy, and they're different to you, but fundamentally they're exactly the same. It's like every like you could talk to a Christian or a Muslim and be like, oh yeah, like so Thor is fake, right? Shango is fake. Quetzalcoatl is fake. Yeah, they'll agree. Like humans absolutely made up those gods, but my God is real. It's like, okay, so how
Exactly.
do you know your God
Like,
is real? How do you know your religion is real?
like,
What exempts you from human fault in the same way that those humans were faulty? Like, how can you justify it? It's always the same. It's just it's cognitive
honestly
dissonance,
speaking,
really.
honestly, I won't lie to you. I'm not an atheist.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm not an atheist because I still um oh hold it. I practice some form of spirituality.
What does that entail?
Well, it just entails, stuff in nature, like, energy, stuff having to do with energy and the universe and the way it works, vibration and frequency and up to that stuff.
I mean, that's kind of vague to me.
Yeah, okay, but when you think about it, that form of spirituality, when you think about it, is still scientific in itself.
Well, that would still make you an atheist, though. You realize that, right? If there's no central
Yeah,
deity,
more or less. But
you'd still be an
because
atheist.
yeah, okay, more or less. Because um when they go and they say when they now say, yeah, okay, okay, then who created you? I'm like, I wasn't created, I was born. Well, if you're gonna use creation as the argument, then who created that God that you say created you?
Yeah,
So the same argument you use
it
for
creates
everything
a special
literally
pleading.
cancels out the other one. Yeah, literally,
Yeah, of course. But
literally.
that's the thing with the cognitive dissonance. They can't face up to that reality because it's so damaging to all the other like so like the belief, this like faulty belief is like the matchstick holding up the whole empire. And if you point out the matchstick, they need to find ways to ignore the matchstick so they can maintain the empire. That's what you're going to continually run into.
Right.
So yeah, of course, like all those kinds of arguments are silly. The question on how like the universe came about, where humans came from, they can only really be answered by study. There's no individual man can say, "Oh, look, I know." It's just this imaginary entity created it one day, and then I know that because another guy told me that. It's like it's ridiculous, right? It's best to just say, "I don't actually know," right? But let's find out.
Oh, I don't. Literally, I don't.
You know?
Yeah. Great job,
Jesus
bro.
Christ,
Good
talking
stuff.
crazy. Hey, so yeah, it's nice talking to you as well, Fresh, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, appreciate you for coming up, my friend.
yeah.
Take it easy. Oh, we're getting
Yeah, easy.
chomped. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can take care of this guy quickly. It's possible. It isn't that difficult, but he's annoying. 1 in a million. Just give me a minute, yeah. I'm about to die anyways. Ooh, that's close. Let's summon some help. No! No, I messed up. Alright, mate. My words. What would you say?
Yo, brother.
How you doing, bro?
I'm enjoying playing this game of whatever this is, simulation.
Oh, you're talking about this like life in general?
Well, you asked how I was. That's it.
Why do you think this is a simulation?
Why? Because why not? What are you playing there? You're playing a simulation.
Yeah, in a way. Like, I wouldn't really call this a sim, but I can see how someone might
Yeah.
view it in that way.
Yeah, this is a simulation in certain ways. It depends on what your awareness level is, my man. Some people are not aware. Some people are.
So what do you think the reasons behind the simulation would be if we are in a simulation?
To experience the experiences
And what, of the simulation itself?
within the simulation. Yeah.
So let's look at it like our reality, right? Let's say like there's this data center somewhere that has this high tech that like any one of us could just go to and just plug in and just live a complete human life. Right? What would be the reasons for doing that in our current world?
This is my ultimate question. So, what is the whole point of all this crap that we are doing every single day? And it kind of stems on what you're saying here. So,
Me
I haven't really
personally,
got the answer, but I'm trying to figure the answer out. But what the answer is experience the experiences, whatever you want to create. So you are sitting there at the moment creating your space of enjoyment of playing this simulation while you're actually in a sim. So
I don't see like I can only see a sim making sense if like we were trying to figure out something that couldn't work in the world we actually exist in. That's the only reason it makes sense. Just for entertainment, yeah, I guess, but to go that high level with it is a bit extra.
That's what this is. That's what this is entertainment.
In a way, yeah.
Life,
In a way.
life is a game.
In a way. I mean,
Welcome to the game of life, brother.
I don't take like see I don't really want to collapse it into such a simplistic thing because it's not that simple, you know.
It is, brother. It is that simple. Life is simple. It's up and down, left and right.
Nah,
In and
bro.
out.
Nah, bro.
Don't make it complicated. You saying about humans invented God, so this is where humans are making it too complicated when life isn't that complicated. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
So, but what the thing is, you're not deep in about the simulation point of view, though. Is if you are some other entity having a simulation here, right? Then what takes place in that real life where the real you apparently is? Then
The real life, real you.
yeah, if you
Well,
think the current you is just a sim, right? The real you is obviously outside of the sim, experiencing you.
Well,
right?
this is apparently the higher self of us all.
What would be the point in that?
Well, to experience the experience.
Yeah, but then you'd still
So
have to die in the real world where your real body is. Or assumptively, right?
Yes, because this is where this depends on where your awareness comes into, my friend, because there are levels to this game that we're playing here. Like you have levels what you're playing in that game, there's levels to this game,
Yeah.
to the game of life.
I mean, yeah, it's easy to say that, but like, in order to get to something meaningful, like, you know, like you could just word game your way, like your life away, but in order to get to something substantial,
Because words are spells. You remember when you was in school and they used to turn around to you and say, check your spelling?
yeah, I've heard that, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bit dangerous to go down that
simplify
road.
Simplify that. Words are spells.
I mean, yeah, I've heard people say that, but I think it could be dangerous
So
to
be
think
careful
that
what
kind
you
of
say,
way.
brother.
Nah, I don't mind. I'll take the consequences. Take them consequences any day.
Yeah, well, this is what we do every single day because we're not taught. This is the whole point of experiencing, because what you experience is different to my experiences. Your perspective is different to my perspective. So it's all part of, because you come from the same source as what I come from. So it is all part of.
But what would that source be, though?
Have you
that's the
come
point.
across the fall of Sophia?
Oh, is that like Gnosticism?
Yeah.
I've heard
not-
little bits and pieces, but I'm not really well informed on it.
I'm still going down that rabbit hole. Still going.
So you're more subscribing to that kind of Gnostic telling of the world.
Certain parts vibrate, certain parts don't.
But then, do you know, like, to me, I do laugh about it, right? Because Gnostics, and they're like, the whole point is knowing stuff. But then, then you ask them, like, how do they know any of that is true?
Exactly.
there's the paradox right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you know any of that is true?
Calling the kettle pot back, or whatever it's called. It's a funny
it's
way
a
of
mind
playing
game.
things. The world, the universe is mental, brother. It is absolutely mental. And it is what you said there. It is a mind game because through your mind, you are the CEO of your own devices. The divine, whatever you want to do, you can create.
Yeah,
You are a
if you're
god.
feeling optimistic, but if you wasn't, then
Well,
you'd more be inclined to be nihilistic and subscribe to determinism, hard determinism, and
that's
say that
the.
you don't have a choice in all of this in the first place.
Well, this is the thing about the scales because everything's got a scale, up and down, left and right, love, hate. So what you're saying there,
I
it's
don't
depending on what
agree.
you tip on the scale.
I don't agree. I think that accounts for some things. I think a dualistic view accounts for some things, but not all things. Again,
It has to.
like I was saying
You
earlier
can't
on, I
just
think it's more complicated than just.
no, no, no. Don't complicate things. Keep it simple.
That's the reality is it isn't simple. Well, the only way we could have kept it simple is if we never developed anything that we've developed up to this point. Now it's too late to undo the past, so
True. We have to learn from it.
so yeah, so we couldn't just say, all right, let me just decide to be dumb now. Well, it's too late. Like the Pandora's box is already opened. It's too late. So we have to figure out the nuances now. We're doomed
Yes,
to.
we do. And this is the fantastic, beautiful thing about these times here. We have everything to our fingertips, but it's just trying to decipher and find out what actually the real truth is. Because there's so much misleading, so many lies. It's
Problem
just
is,
incredible.
someone might argue that there is no truth. Then that's the problem, essentially, that there is no actual singular truth about anything.
There is, all right, okay,
You know?
because every person needs to experience. So, in a sense of learning, yes, there can be.
I don't know, man. I think, me personally, I think obviously truth as a word is just like a linguistic term you throw about. It has its functions when necessary, but for me, truth exists
Again-
on a spectrum. So there is no like final, like infallible truth. At least I've not found anything which has that.
Well, again, a truth is on a scale. So you've got the lie, tell the lie, or you've got the truth to tell the truth of what is supposed to be told.
No, I wouldn't say in that way. I say when I say on a scale, right? So there's like there's an experiential truth, like a subjective truth, and then there's an apparently objective truth, something that exists to be the case even without you being there. Right? That's what I mean by scale. But most you can't actually escape the subjectivity of reality because everything you're ever going to experience is coming through that filter of you, the subject.
Yes.
So then that F's up the whole view of an objective final truth because no one is going to be able to intersubjectively have all of that leading up experience, all of those like connective tissues and neurons or whatever that make you to see things the way you see it. So there can't be a final truth in that way.
Not in that perspective, correct, but in the schemes of things, because when you are standing where you stand and I stand where I stand, we're in the car park, we see a car of red, your perspective could be slightly different to mine, but we still see the same car.
We think we do.
Exactly.
We think we do. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
We think we do. There's no way I can know if your mind functions in the same way as my mind. I'm just assuming these things.
So this is the thing about going back to your title here. So I am fully aware, I do feel that man did invent God, as in the God is what is predicted and perceived of today.
But do you still believe in something like that?
No, I know.
You know.
I know.
So what is it that led you to say you know?
Because if you believe in a lie.
I mean, that's kind of like word games.
Well, this is like, it's brother. Everything's word games.
Yeah,
Everything's metaphors. Nothing's easy.
Yeah, I'll listen to who's complicating it.
I
you see?
It's complicated. I said it wasn't easy.
Nah, I hear you still,
I
but
said it wasn't easy. I didn't say it's complicated. Nothing is easy.
how do you
grinding
know?
flour. It's not easy, but it's not complicated, is it?
True. But
So it's the same
anything is complicated or complex in comparison to something else. Like nothing is singularly complex. So
Not really in the scheme of things. Well, I suppose if you have never done brain surgery before, then yes, it would be complex.
Yeah.
But if somebody has done some brain surgery before, then no, it wouldn't be.
they go that
It's
relativism.
yeah.
But yeah, but how do you
Every
know
man
though?
and woman did. Sorry.
No, sorry, go on, carry on.
I lost my track. What?
No, I was saying,
So-
how do you know? Because you said, I don't believe I know, right? That's what I want to know. Well, that's what I want to try to understand. Try to understand it, anyways.
Because I have, where everyone in my time, I suppose, has been trying to be someone, I was being no one, i.e., being doing the inner work, gazing out the window, being the mischievous one. And what I seem to discover is that I was doing stuff that we should be all doing when we was a kid anyway, sorting out the traumas, the trials and tribulations that have been left by your mums, grands, aunties, daughters, and all that crap. And what I seem to have done is crack the code, and now I'm in
big
the
claim.
kingdom of heaven.
That's a big ass claim, boy. That's a big
Brother.
claim.
Yeah, I'm ready to come out and speak out the truth,
Okay.
because I can't
Yo.
do what I'm doing.
Centaur says, yo, drop the code, bro. Let's get the leak. So no, but like, all that being said, right, I kind of understand what you're saying, and we're doing the inner work, figuring out things with yourself and reality, but that still doesn't explain to me how one can say, I know that there is a God, I don't just believe that there's a God. What is this, like, if you could distill it to one thing, what was it that convinces you that you know there's a God?
It's this knowing of what is inside of yourself, because you are God.
It's a bit rough
You
for
have
me.
the spark within inside you. So therefore you are God. You can create and co-create, destroy anything you want to.
I mean, that's
And
a
it's how
that's a
we've gone
view.
about things and how we've been perceived with things has enabled us to go and do things. It's like with alkalizing the body. You have to alkalize the body. You can't live in an acid state. If you're living in an acid state, then you're going to get disconnection, diseases, and problems and issues. You need to go and
To an extent, like dietary advice aside, right?
Hold on.
I go God.
There we go. I didn't know what you said there, bro.
I said dietary advice aside, right? What makes you think that we're all gods? Like, so for instance, for one to be able to say that we're all gods and some expression of gods, you need to have a substantial understanding of what God is anyway. And my point of view is that's something that's imparted to you. That's not necessarily something that just exists without us. That's something that we've cooked up. So how can you know it's something that it's something that we didn't cook up? That's what I'm asking you.
Because it's down to what vibrates with you. Because obviously it's being aware of what is a lie and a truth.
Yeah, but that's not a guarantee. Like one could say you have a feeling that this is true, but your feelings aren't authentic. Your feelings could be wrong.
Yeah, this is why you have to. This is why you have your gut feeling inside you. You know that feeling. You've got three hearts. You have your gut, your normal heart, and your head heart, and they all work together. And you.
Well, I would use the word brain instead, but yeah, sure.
Oh man, there's so many terminologies for different things. Tomato. But there we are. By you have the feeling. You know when you walk into a room and you can feel the energy.
Well, yeah, in some ways, yeah.
It's that vibration within people. You get to know when they are lying to you.
Yeah, but you could still be wrong, right? I'm sure there's been instances where you thought something was the case, and it comes to find out your understanding was wrong. But you had the feeling that you was right at the time, didn't you? So why should we trust those feelings?
Well, because I myself will only speak if it is the only truth. Because there are people out there, as you do speak of, that will lie to go and cover their asses because they are hiding behind a mask.
Yeah, maybe, but like to say that again,
Most definitely.
when you say the truth part, it digs out like the human ego to be able to say like I have access to this ultimate truth thing, do you know? But like we were just saying, it's gonna be subjective to your views anyway.
It's subject to my views, my trials, my tribulations has gave me access. Yes.
So then it exists on that spectrum, like I was saying before. That's a subjective truth. That's not a universal objective truth.
But it can be.
It can't, because it's based on your personal experience of life.
Yes, but it's down to what Yeshua back in the day had tried to show us all.
I mean, maybe I'm not very like in tune with reading the Bible in that kind of way personally. So
No,
maybe.
not mine. I've got one, but I've never read it.
I've got a couple actually. But there you go, right? There you flipping go, right? There you go.
It's better to have than not have at all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. To have and not
One day
need.
you'll read it, brother.
And need and not
One day
have.
you'll read it.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. One day you'll need it. One day. There's a reason why you've got it.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna need a doorstop one day, probably.
Firestarter.
Yeah, probably.
Twisted
Yeah,
Firestarter.
some kids then, probably. I'm joking.
But on the funny side of things, this is the whole point of all this. You are a god in your own divine devices, because when you do listen to yourself, when you do meditate, you go within yourself. I've had weird sensations, weird feelings, weird things saying to me, talking to me. It's like, really, is this true? I'm like, no, come on, shut up.
Yeah, but there you go
No
though.
way.
So you've been able to experience those things and contextualize them doesn't necessarily mean they're how you experience them or how you think you experience them. Do you know? And again, you saying to me that I'm a god, like as if it's a fact, I can't accept something like that because, you know, like
You have to. It's a leap of faith.
nah, it's just it's right. So it's two levels to it, right? There's my own personal ego of not being able to accept that. Then there's the looking kind of more inwards. It's like, all right, so who am I to be able to say that? Do you know? It's that kind of stuff, bro.
You are the god of your own device.
Yeah, some people might like to say that, but I'm not really inclined in that kind of way. Again, I'm very aware of how little control I have over my own reality to be able to call myself a god. How it would be
Because
conceptually.
you're not ready yet to be a god. Have you heard of the egg theory?
Maybe vaguely.
Then go and do some research on the egg theory, and take a pinch of that. Don't believe in that, or be aware of that. And yeah, you seem to.
I mean, I've heard it. I've heard it, but
Have more
not
faith in
very
yourself.
very deep. No, don't get me wrong, right? Obviously, like I'm not the most confident guy, but all I'm trying to say is the way I've observed reality, right, up to this point of however old I am, right, it's very clear that there's things about this reality that I have no control over, right? And then I've approached that from philosophy, I've approached that from like psychology, pseudo-psychology, really, right, to manage that reality that I don't have control over these things. Just like my very own existence, where I live, how I am, my physical makeup, my genetics, my ancestry, everything. So many things are out of my control, they were never going to be my choices anyway. Knowing all of that as a reality, there's no reason for me to pretend or try to fool myself into acting as if I'm the controller of this whole scheme. Although it's pleasing to the ego, and it would make me feel really good to be able to say, you know what, when I want it to rain, it rains. When I want it to shine, it shines, right? You know, it would really please me. But the reality is something quite different. Do you know?
Well, this is the schemes of the spectrum of the awareness level. I suppose you have seen and watched a film called The Airbender.
I've watched anime many years ago.
All right. Well, there's a cult, tribe, grouping, people, whatever you want to call it. It's called the Anuwazi tribe. I don't know if I said that right.
Not sure.
Anuwazi. Well, being aware of all the yoga techniques of being your thumbs and fingers being the end of your energy, say. So by putting two fingers together, your thumb and your ring finger, you're connecting earth. By connecting your finger and your pinky, you're connecting to water. I can't remember. I'm learning this as I go along.
So
And you
yeah,
mantra
I've kind of
certain-
heard some stuff like that in the past.
Yeah, and you speak, because word is vibration. With connecting
yeah.
these 2 points, you speak the mantras, and apparently, according to this, you can control the air, you can control the weather, you can control the universe around you, because you are the universe, you are God, so you can control it. But it's the things that we need to do to activate it. It's like to drive a car, you need the keys to drive the car.
True.
It's the same thing with this. You need the keys, the tools to activate it.
Maybe,
So
right?
if nobody
But then, say that is true, right? Then where does that put these other types of deities that people subscribe to then? If the individual human has access to that power, where does that put all these different beliefs of God?
It's all fake. Every single Bible out there is fake.
Well, at least you said I'd have to say it. But, you know,
It
But
is
I guess-
100%.
but for me, right?
This is what old Joshua back in the day tried to help us with. And it even says it in the Bible somewhere along the line, I'm sure it does. Do not adhere to the things of this world. And that means it's like everything that goes on. Make up your own devices. Create your own enjoyment. Don't follow to what everyone else does. Because this is why the world has gone the way it
I
has.
agree to a certain extent, but there's no like it's damn near impossible to be able to operate uninfluenced by anything and anyone else, right? That would be true free will, and we don't have that, which goes back to the problem.
But again, this is what Yeshua tried to teach us. It's like, this is how you do it, but you can do better things than what I can do. So it's just your way of doing things.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
I guess.
touching a saw. It's like there's a million ways to die, but realistically,
Probably
there's
a
one way
billion.
to die. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd go by the song because I love the way the song is. Wu-Tang Clan. So,
Okay.
Again, so there's so many ways of doing things, but truly, there's only one way of doing things.
What do you mean by that?
So, like I just said, so there's a billion ways to die. Choose one. It's a million ways to eat
I get what you
something.
mean.
Choose one.
I think I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, you're aware. Don't please change your words as well. Being understanding, because you do not understand. You do not understand me, and I do not understand you. As in standing levels, we are all one level, right?
Oh, that's nonsense, but I understand.
No, it's not. When you put this into nonsense, then when Mr. Police Officer comes up to you, says you're under arrest.
Yeah.
So you're under arrest now. You're under him, and
Yeah.
you come along and says, "I understand." Now you're even further. You're under him.
Oh no,
These all metaphors. Right?
ironically, I can't help like again, I'm English, right? So I can only use the vocabulary I have access to. But what you're saying is an interesting view, and I've been told about it before, like specifically like Black's Law type stuff as well. Yeah, I know, I know, right? I know, right? So words definitely do have like meanings, serious meanings too, right? But in just like general colloquial, if that's how you pronounce it, conversation. I merely just say I understand to acknowledge that I'm grasping what you're saying. Like someone.
Your awareness, brother. Drop the word of understand and be more aware.
Yeah, but again, to me, I know what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, but at the same time, it's a certain type of linguistic game that I don't really want to play. Do you know?
Well, you are playing it. You're part of it.
Yeah, but I'm playing it in a different way. Do you know?
Well, there's only one way of playing it, and that's being aware of it, understanding.
See, see, that's what I mean. It's part of who we are culturally, right? I get what you're saying. Wordplay wise, it is very important if that is the direction you're trying to go with it. But first, I think in order to get to that place where you think words have that kind of capacity to have power, there's a certain set of beliefs that you have to be operating from anyway. And if I don't operate from those beliefs, there's no point in me playing that game. Do you know?
Well, that is point of ignorance, I suppose.
In a way, maybe.
Definitely. Because if you have access to it, you choose to turn a blind eye to it, so therefore that is not helping thyself, not helping thee-self, not helping anybody. Maybe,
right? But as you were saying, there are different ways to do things, you know? At present, I only have access to the English language, and there's like a commoner's use of it as well, not even like a good command of it.
True,
so I'm using the tools I got, you know.
Me too, brother.
But
that's all I've got. I was born and bred in England, and that's it. But you keep saying, I was thinking it's like cutting grass. You can cut grass with tweezers, you can cut grass with shears, or you know what I mean.
I hear you.
So how easy you want to go and do things, how difficult you want to play the game. So by knowing what you know, being more aware of what is you're capable of doing, therefore it should make things easy for you.
You're right, but you see, if you operate in that kind of way linguistically, then you remove the possibility for that real fairness, that like real egalitarianism, because you're saying, look, I'm speaking to you, you're just a man like me, but because I have this command of language that is essentially secret to you, I'm manipulating you by the way I'm conversing with you, and to me that's kind of underhanded. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it would be the same as like, it's why we pay solicitors however many hundreds of pounds for their time, do you know? Because the way they use no, I'm not saying you personally, right? I'm just saying the way so when we're talking about language, right? Obviously linguistics matter. The way you say things, what you're trying to say, how you say it, all of that matters. But if we're actually to treat each other like we're equals and we're just individuals and we respect each other as that, I wouldn't be operating in a way that's designed to put you beneath me linguistically. Do you know? I'm just using common tools as a common person. But when you interact with someone who's thinking on that level linguistically, like words or spells, and I need to speak in this type of way to maneuver people, you're ultimately manipulating them. Do you know? Whether they understand it or not. Now, from your point of view, yeah, I'm just being a wizard, you know, I'm making the world the way I want it to be. But you remove that equality straight away. You establish the hierarchy, saying, I'm above you because I have access to this knowledge and information. You're beneath me because you don't. Do you get what I mean?
Now that's narcissistic now playing that game, because I've not ever put myself above anybody or
Not
anyone.
you. I'm not saying you in general. I'm talking about how the thing's set up. How it's
Yeah.
set up, right?
And that's narcissistic.
Well, yeah, to an extent, of course. Of course.
And that is, well, truly, because it is saying I am greater than I, or sorry, I am greater than you, therefore, yeah, it's just not the way of things should be as it is.
But it,
So I've done a little bit of research with how the women of time, no, I think it's before witches and all this stuff, were condemned on so many levels.
of course.
It's incredible on how badly we have treated women. It is, and there's a reason why behind it as well.
Well, there's lots of reasons behind it. But to the point of what I'm trying to say though is like societally, right? So someone that has, so they say your vocabulary determines your reality, right? The more vocabulary you have the command of, right, is the more intricate you can see reality. It's like a guy who doesn't know anything about cars opens the hood of a car, just sees some machinery, right? A guy who's a mechanic has a robust understanding of everything under that hood, so he sees more because he has the vocabulary for each and everything, right?
That's your awareness. Yep.
Yeah, so a lawyer who functions in law in like our world, how we live in the Western world, is literally all a word game. Fundamentally, it's kind of why I'm saying what I'm saying. They have access to a whole different reality than a normal person who is under the law. Right? They see, so like, you know how Neo sees the code. When I'm walking in a shop, I see a code. When I pick up an item, I see a code. The normal person doesn't see the code. They don't see the contract. They don't see the language. But the people who do see the language and the contract are manipulating everyone who doesn't. So that's the point I was trying to make, right? I'm not saying it's an active intention behind it,
Yeah,
but it is fundamentally set up like that.
Yes, this is how the world is the way it is because of what they know and how they can manipulate and control us. It's because of what you've just explained there. It is people are unaware of what is around us. They don't know what they're consuming. They don't know what they are drinking. They don't know what they are breathing. They do not know, unfortunately. They are poor, lost souls.
But now that's harsh, right? See, that's harsh. But like, ignorance isn't necessarily malicious though. Like, just not knowing something isn't a fault. It's just not knowing.
Yeah, but then there are people out there that you get told, not told, I hate the word being told, it's like being dictatorship. When you get advised of whatever the situation is or whatever the scenario is once you're aware of that, you still carry on.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. In some ways.
That's now.
But you got to think about how far, like, in the West we've come with this kind of like nicety, right? We've come so far that we practice things like semantic bleaching. Like we see how you just changed from being told to being advised, right? That's the same linguistic game I'm talking about, right?
It's because I am the wizard. I am.
There you go, right?
I have to be careful of what I say and what I do.
There you go, right? So that by itself removes the possibility of equality, because the language is gatekept, and how one uses the language, the semantics and the context of the language, is gatekept from the average person. Because like, I'm just born into like a council state. I went to state school. I'm just picking up vocabulary from the people I interact with. I'm not growing up aware of this big scheme that's happening, and like everyone's manipulating the world through words and contracts and like, you know, all this sly shit. I'm not aware of any of that. The average person isn't aware of any of that. But that's the game that's being run on the average person. And one of those games is the same religious thing that we're talking about here. Right? It's one of those same type of games. So it's hard for me to. So because I don't want to play that game on the side of being able to manipulate people, I still have to operate as a normal person. So I have to kind of be aware of it, but still operate as a normal person. Do you know? it's either I stay on the Jedi side or I go to the dark side. It's just the only two ways.
Yeah, exactly. There's a film out there, The Joker. That
Yeah.
is a plain in sight film that explains how things and trials and tribulations that affected him. But they didn't show him the light side. They showed him that it went down the dark side. They showed him that they killed and manipulated and hurt people and stuff. But there are the other side of things. You can help people if you choose to. Like, I could have taken souls. Somebody out there wanted me to take 10 souls.
That's
But
terrible.
I choose not to. I said, no, you can go and if you want souls, you're going to take them yourself.
That's terrible.
So, it is terrible. It's sad and it's awful and how things are, but people out there will go and do that. They'll find a way and they'll kill and they'll take.
Yeah, true.
It's one thing that I do feel that in this realm that we are playing here, that's one thing we shouldn't do is take a life, not even your own, because it's not yours to take.
I mean,
So-
I'm partially in agreement with you, but if I look at nature, nature's like indifferent to life taken. Like, so one could argue nature is like ultimately hedonistic. It doesn't care about anything other
I've
than just
always questioned
gratification,
that,
right? Now, as humans, like amongst ourselves, we can agree that it's not a good idea to unalive people, but naturally, it's something we're very capable of. It's something we thrive off, like just consumption wise, you know. Now, I'm not pro it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not okay now at all. But it's it's effed up, but it's actually natural.
But this is when
Which
you
is
get down
weird.
to the awareness level of being knowing of that we are all one. We are nature. We are part of nature.
Yeah,
It's all part of this disconnection of drinking the Kool-Aid that everyone seems to be drinking that enables your disconnection. And you're thinking that you are individual. You are who you are because we are not. It's a misleading concept because we are all as one. You are I and I is you. Just different vibrations, different levels.
yeah. In some philosophy, that could be true. But I'm on the journey to figure out what is actually the case if I can. Right? So I'm not committing. I'm not committing to any of those kinds of things. I'm interested in knowing about them, but I can't commit myself to them. So I don't like. It's like saying, run down that corridor. I don't know what's around the corner, mate. So I'm just gonna run down that corridor.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out, though, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
It's curiosity. It's jumping. This is what also they try to teach us: is jumping out of your safe space. So running down that corridor to round that corner is not your safe space.
Yeah.
But it's the experience that you will find out what is that round that corner.
But I can learn from you going down that corner, so I don't have to.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah, that's what
Because
wisdom
it'll be
is.
Me experience it. I will learn the experience, not you.
Yeah,
You experience
and
watching
you
me.
report it back to me. That's the point of books. That's the whole
Depending on
point.
what's there.
And so that's how the next generation can jump ahead by like 20, 30 years. They don't have to walk down the corridor and see what's around the corner. Jim and John did that already. It's like, we know what's around the corner. You know, don't
You're
commit to
gonna
the
go deeper
corridor.
now, because you don't necessarily need to go walk around the corner. If you wanted to, you could astroplane around the corner.
Ah,
and see what's around the corner.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I've heard people say that, but that's another one
You
of
could
those
just
things
stand there
that
and just
I wouldn't
astroplaning.
commit to. That's another one of those kinds of things.
Oh, brother, you're still alive. You got to play the game of life. It's funny.
It is funny, but it's
is
also
funny.
depressing and brutal as well.
Oh, don't. I've already got Section 31, so it's not a fun story to say, but it's something that does need to be spoken about because it is a serious game that we're playing here. So many people get suicidal thoughts and suicidal traits and pushes and shoves and whatnot because the system that we're playing now is not a fair system. It is awful. They don't give a monkey
Yeah, of
who or
course.
what we are.
Because again, it's us as humans who are dehumanizing ourselves and other people.
Yeah, because we are magnetic. What are we? Magnetic, spiritual, something or other in a meat suit.
I mean, I agree with the meat suit bit, but I don't know about the magnetic bit. I don't know enough to say.
All right, I'll wear you a little bit on this one. They found out your heart is not a pump. It's actually a vortex. So being a vortex, it generates a magnetic field. So by you emphasizing your vortex, field emphasizes to about 4 feet in diameter around yourself. So that's your own pesticide, your own magnetized. Because trust me with this, women love me or men want to kill me. So you've got to be careful how you play it.
All right, that's not a bad place to be, though. It's not a bad place to be at all. Do you know what I mean?
Man, I've had Palestinians stand there and say they want to kill me. I've had
Oof.
Pakis turn around and say they want to
Whoa,
kill me for
whoa,
my
whoa, whoa,
travels.
whoa, whoa,
Uh,
whoa, 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 whoa.
what?
Don't say the P word like that, bro.
Well, it's the context. It's a.
Yeah, but it's offensive, isn't it?
Oh, come on, don't behave yourself.
I'm saying to
Behave.
you, behave yourself. Remember, you're on the internet, so like
I don't
one
give
thing that's
monkeys. I
taken.
know who I am and what I am.
Yeah, but
We're all the same. So
you'll get
start putting
a
things up like
strike.
that.
You'll get a strike on the app,
Oh man, I'll get so many strikes on this thing. It's
but
stupid.
it will strike my stream as well.
Oh, my body. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, so
Ah,
even so,
you know what I mean? There's no free speech
I
anymore.
can't make you not be racist, but I'd appreciate if you like tone it down a bit.
Okay, here's a bit of awareness level for you. I can say anything I want. The only person that's the racist is the person that flags it up. That's the racist.
I would disagree with that, but let's not get into that conversation.
No, because now the time's loads and I've lost it, brother. So by that, I've got to go. I love you.
All right, take care, bro. Good chat though. All right, so Azul. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Not too bad, man. What do you want to talk about? Ooh, your background's a bit loud.
Really?
Yeah, I can hear myself, and I can hear some noises.
Those are the birds.
There ain't no birds, cuz. I never heard no bird that sound like that. It sound like moving wind in a microphone.
Oh,
Yo, you still there?
yeah, I'm here.
What were you saying, anyways?
It's quite windy. It's quite windy here. Sorry.
No worries, bro. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Your topic. Your said humans invented God. Well, I do agree to an extent. Yes. And throughout every culture, I mean most cultures, you see that.
Ooh, brother, your background is way too loud. I don't want to drop you down. If you could try and sort it out really quickly, that'd be great. But the background is just too loud.
Then let me drop and come back later.
Oh, I appreciate you, bro. So there's just too much going on in the background. I can hear the echo of my mic as well. And I've got like a really tiny earbud in. It's kind of loud for me. Yo, Grand.
Yo,
How you doing, bro?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing, bro?
Not too bad, man.
I just had a question because you seem so knowledgeable. I wanted to ask you, like, where do you get your information? Like, are there any books you would recommend, or
It depends what you actually want to know about. It's not like I'm actually that smart. I'm just a regular guy. So if there's a specific topic, it's just like, yeah, I could be like, oh, maybe look here. But just in general, it's like, I just learn things like an average person. But yeah, if there's a like specific topic, then yeah, maybe I can advise you.
I'm trying to think.
You're not trolling, are you?
Nah, like, let's say about humans created God.
Say again.
Anything like humans invented God.
Mm.
Is there anything I recommend, like a book or something?
I think you should look into that hyperactive agency detection device thing. Have a look at that. Like, there's some interesting content creators I can point you towards if you're more interested in like an atheistic view on this. But like a book that's good is Battling Gods in the Ancient World by Tim Whitmarsh. Another book that's okay. It's really more a polemic against atheism, but it does dive into different views on how it works. Is a book called 7 Types of Atheism. But yeah, like there's lots of resources on YouTube. You know what I mean? If you're that way inclined.
I have one more last question. The last guy, he mentioned something about like frequency and water and manipulation. Like, what's that all about? Like,
I mean, I don't really know, right? I kind of understand what people are saying when they say it in the general terms, but the problem is more than likely he subscribes to a type of spirituality. So when he's using these terms, he's not using them in like a scientific way. Maybe I'm not like we can't speak on him personally. None of us really know who he is or what he actually thinks. Right? But just generally internet speak, when someone is talking about frequencies and stuff, you can't be sure if they mean it like actually on the sound spectrum or if they mean some feelings or something. You can't actually be sure.
that's
So
true.
so I don't really know. You know.
All right, that's all I have, man. Do your work. I'm a Christian, but
Why?
yeah, I like you.
Why?
Why? To be honest, first of all, I was born into it, so and also I just think spiritually it helps me very much.
Why?
It's like the words of God, it just calms me down and shows me, you know.
Sure ain't the devil's letters.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I'll just play, bro.
Nah.
But
But
yeah,
but I like you because you're smart, bro. I
I'll
swear.
take it. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Smart guy, bro. Anyways, have a nice one.
Take care, my friend. Dreadlock. I like the way you spelt your name, bro. Yo, Dreadlock.
Yo,
Who's that little doggy, man? I've seen that meme before. Where's that guy from?
yo, what's up, man? Hey, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, you're a bit low though.
Oh, sorry about that.
You just speak up,
Can you hear
man.
me properly?
Speak up. Put the mic near your face. Pause.
Wait, let me take out my headphones. Hold on.
That might help.
Okay, is it working now?
I can hear you a bit clearer. Yeah, just make sure you speak up. Yeah, I don't want to turn my headphones and all that up.
Okay. So I'm gonna prove that 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 God created something that is more powerful than him. One, and
That's a
by
big.
doing
That's
and
wild.
by doing so, I'm going to prove that he exists.
So that doesn't really make sense to me.
It will after I tell you.
So if God creates something more powerful than him, then he wouldn't be God.
Exactly. But I'll show you. I'll show
So try
you.
to say
I
God
want,
effed up, yeah?
bro. Let me. Do you want me to give it to you or
You
not?
effed up,
You
bro.
want it or not?
Like, go on, sure, pause, but yeah.
You want it, yeah?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
sure?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Be
go
positive.
on. Go on, tell your story,
Bro,
bro. Let's hear it.
once I tell you this, you cannot go back. Yeah? I'm not joking.
Alright, Morpheus, let's go.
Okay. So, God created something more powerful than him, and the proof of that is when humans invented God.
Say again, sorry.
When humans invented God, God invented something that is more powerful than him.
Okay. Okay, like what? Is
You
anything
don't
more to
get
add
it.
to that? Nah, because it doesn't make sense.
Humans are God, bro. And when they invented God, that's us. That's God invented something that's more powerful than him.
Right, so what do you take the concept of God to be? How do you define a God?
I think God is a collection of all consciousness, all life.
So you don't think of God as like a single, like anthropomorphic kind of entity?
No. I think of it more as just, you know how you're aware of your existence. Yeah? I think of God as
I think so.
an awareness of all existence.
I think so. I might not really exist though.
What's that?
I think so. I might not really exist though. How could I know?
You know you exist, man. Come on.
Never know. It's
You're
never. It's
just
never.
doubting yourself,
Never too
man.
late to be skeptical.
No. You're
But
just
so
doubting
you have
yourself.
a pantheistic kind of view of what God is. Then is that what you're saying?
Pantheistic. Maybe that's what. I don't know what that is. But
So pantheism is saying like God is everything
yeah,
in very
exactly.
simple terms.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. That's what the Christians say. That's what the
Not
Muslims
really.
say.
Like you can right. So yeah, a lot of those religions mix and match their beliefs, but fundamentally they think of God as a singular mind. Like it's a singular entity that acts in ways
Oh yeah,
only
well,
it can act. But they might say yeah,
if
like
you
God is like the grass, God is the sun. You know, they might say that too metaphorically, but they don't necessarily mean it like in the same way Spinoza meant it, kind of thing.
yeah, well, sometimes God can be the ground. He's everything.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily they might say it in a particular way. That that's just their perspective, because
I think I get what you're trying to say, but
yeah,
there's a separation in it. That's how they
yeah.
build their religion.
Do you know Naruto? You watch Naruto?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine there was one Naruto before you, and like you wanted something to do, right? So we burst multi shadow clone jutsu,
Yeah, but
and
Toby
because
Rama
we
had to
wanted
make
to,
Shadow Clone Jutsu first, though.
yeah, exactly. So because we wanted to like experience something,
That means there's
for
someone before
existence.
Naruto then.
Nah, it's just Naruto, bro.
It
It's
can't
just
be.
Naruto.
I'll just
What
mess
do you
with
mean?
you on the analogy, Rachel. Carry
The
on.
the one before Naruto was Minato. Not Minato, sorry. He's a mom and his dad, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying for Naruto to be able to do Shadow Clone Jutsu, Toby Rama has to invent it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Right? So,
oh.
yeah, the
So you want
technique.
to know who invented God, bro?
No, obviously, I know who invented God. We did. but
I don't know,
that's
man.
besides the point.
Exactly. We created ourselves. Damn. You even re-looped it.
Nah, I don't think we did. Right, so like the other guest was saying, right? To think that humans are God is one type of belief system onto
Mm.
itself, right? Now, some people from a Christian faction might say that's Satanism, right? Some people from another faction might say that's pantheism, right? Some other people might say it's just spirituality. Some other people might say it's just philosophy. Me
Exactly.
personally,
So it doesn't really matter what people say, does it?
yeah,
That's just their perspective. That's all it is.
I agree, but the problem is when we start to come together in societies and start to build our
Mm.
worlds out, start to express our inwardly held beliefs outwards, right?
Mm.
That's
Mm.
when the clash happens.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Because maybe
so it
to come
does matter.
together. We were
No,
not meant to come together. Maybe people were
yeah,
meant to explore.
in a way,
We were not
yes.
meant to clash our ideas together. That's not how you live in harmony.
In a way, yes, but no, like there is a certain level of mixing and like put it this way, like there's this thing called dialectics, right? So it's basically thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. So I say something, you give a rebuttal to that thing, and we come to a conclusion or solution about that thing. So us
Mm.
clashing ideas isn't a bad thing, right? Us clashing culturally isn't a bad thing. But what happens is when we start to expand and build our worldviews on these faulty foundations, then expect the
Yeah,
other person to capitulate to it, because that means that
exactly.
you're not gonna respect the dialectic exchange or the dialectical exchange on this
Yeah,
view. You're saying I don't
yeah.
want any critique about the matchstick. That's my foundation. That's when it's problematic.
100%. And all you can do is expect that, bro. All you can do is expect that because there are differences, there will be crashes, and not a case of trying to make everyone believe the same thing.
So yeah, but from that view, it would still be a righteous cause to try and minimize that kind of suffering that comes out of the clashing.
100%, bro.
So
I
that's
think
the point.
if people shouldn't squeeze up too many different ideas into the same way. I think if you want to communicate loads of different ideas, they should filter it in a safer way,
A more focused way.
Yeah, exactly. Like don't just communicate like if you watch the animals, bro, the animals move like like they move like one, bro. And that's how we were meant to be.
Maybe, maybe.
I'm telling you, I was walking up the road earlier, and I had a negative encounter with a bird, and
Is it?
I walked down the road a little bit more,
I think you have a
and
negative
another
encounter
bird
with a
knew.
bird.
Yeah, another bird knew that I had that encounter, so it treated me the same way, and I was like, wow,
Or is that a
how
metaphor?
connected.
Is that code for something else? Or was it a
Could be,
raven?
could be. I'm
No,
just saying, animals are aware of stuff, man.
of course, of
Every
course.
animal.
But the only problem with that is how humans can. We are animals, don't get me wrong, but how we differentiate from the others is that we possess nearly all the same capabilities as them. So it doesn't fit us nicely into a box like a bird,
Not
like a
necessarily, you know.
lion, like a lizard.
Not necessarily, you know. Bro,
Obviously, we're
even like
mammals.
pigeons.
Obviously, we're mammals, but the problem is we have the same capacity to be peaceful vegetarians, like omnivores and shit. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, 100%.
But we also have the same capacity to be dangerous predators and carnivores, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we are
We have the
divergent in the
capacity to
animal
be whoever
kingdom.
we want, bro.
But that's the thing,
That's
right?
the reality of it.
But to that point, yes, we're supposed to be together as a species, of course. Or if we didn't, we'd die out, which is kind of happening. Right? But I forget the point what I was making.
Eventually that will happen.
I forget the point I was making now. Doesn't matter. No, it's not. It's not. It's like it's not going anywhere important, anyways.
Nah, humans are interesting. Yeah.
But anyways, Dreadlock. I like your name, bro. But I'm gonna give Big Homie a chance to come up.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care, man.
Appreciate you, man. Take care. Yo,
Hello.
how you doing, bro?
Hey, how you doing, man? You
Not too
seem
bad.
pretty smart. You know, I'm glad to
Nah,
hear
don't
it.
glaze.
I know, right? Actually, I don't
Appreciate it.
crazy smart. It's just you think, you know. But basically, all I came to say basically, because everything is so complicated. But I'm Christian. Yeah, but I'm also I understand that things are easy. Christianity has
Yo,
been
bro, your mic is all muffling. I can't really hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just muffling a bit.
Oh, I'm muffling? All right. Is it better now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so basically I'm Christian, but I follow God, I go to church and everything. But my perspective of Christianity is different than I would say it's a common Western idea of Christianity, because a lot of the Bible, a lot of Christianity has been manipulated. I believe all religions have been manipulated.
Well,
Really,
I don't think there's any such thing as a pure religion anyway. They're all human.
I agree. Listen, man, I agree. God calls us to be like Him. God calls us to
You
have a relationship with Him personally.
you're breaking up again, bro.
God calls us to have a relationship with Him personally. It's not
Do you think
a
so?
religion thing. Oh, 100%.
Why though? What makes you think that's true?
Because it's like it's a personal relationship. It's like
What makes you think that's true?
what makes me think that's true is because the Bible says the Bible is actually Jesus, how Jesus walked with Christ is actually against religion.
Bro,
You
your
know,
mic is like.
okay.
So,
A
bro,
lot
are
of
you moving around or something? Because your mic is just
yeah.
going in and out, in and out, in and out. I can barely
Yes,
hear
I
what you're
am.
saying.
Okay, I got you. I said basically the how Christ lived his life was basically against religion. Basically, he had okay. So back in that time, the area that Jesus was in was Judaism. They all were Jews. Doing Judaism. I can't say it,
Judaism.
but Judaism. Yes, but the ones that killed Jesus, the one that The ones that he spoke to against were Jews.
No, it's not true. The Romans killed Jesus, and they
Yeah,
persecuted
Roman.
him as a Jew.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
Yeah,
It's not true. The Jews didn't kill Jesus. Like the people that killed Jesus are the people that made Christianity, ironically. So there's that.
The people that killed Jesus were Judaism. Like, all right.
Say again, sorry.
And then again,
It's kind of crazy, huh? The guys that killed the guys that killed Jesus are the same guys that made Christianity. So it weren't Jews who did it. He was killed because he was a Jew.
yeah, the Romans killed Jesus.
That's hard, isn't it? Yeah, that shit's hard, isn't it? Now you have to think. Yeah, that shit's hard, huh?
Talk about they didn't create Christianity.
Of course they did. What are you talking about? The Romans are who codified Christianity. They made a New Testament. They pulled together all of those people in the empire and made it into what you call it today. It was Romans.
The Romans did not create Christianity.
Yes, brother. Just do a little research, man. It was Romans.
About the Romans had their own God.
Yeah, they did. Right, but they made Christianity the state religion. They're the ones who codified Christianity. They put it all together into a nice, neat book called the New Testament. It was Romans. It was under Roman rule. It was under Roman sanction. How it all happened. But anyways, like all of that aside, right? What was we talking about before we digressed? Right?
I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about Christ. I'm talking about the story of Jesus.
So you said that God calls us to have a personal relationship with Him, and I asked you, how do you know that? That's what I was asking you.
God called us to have a personal relationship because if you look in the Bible, this God says, God tells us to have a personal relationship with Him.
When? How do you know?
Our relationship is not because it's in the Bible.
So what happens when God's indifferent about your personal life, your personal suffering, or the life of any infant?
You have to become more like Christ.
I think that's a little bit ridiculous, bro.
How is it ridiculous?
So God is saying you have to be like God in order for God to acknowledge you?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Like anyone else,
that's a ridiculous standard.
I was asked, you have to be like God. You don't have to be God.
You have to be like God. That's a pretty flipping. If there was a standard, that would probably be the highest standard, no?
You know, okay, we'll be like Christ. Christ walked on earth
as God, no?
As God.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous when you actually think about it.
It's ridiculous when everything. How is it ridiculous?
So you're saying God wants to have a personal relationship with you, and I ask you then, how do you deal with the fact that He's indifferent about individual people suffering? You said that they just need to be like Christ. So essentially, you're saying God only cares about you when you act like Him.
No,
that's what you're saying.
There's two different things. God can love us, but you also need to have a relationship with Him. You can love somebody without dealing with someone.
Yeah, but in order to have a relationship with someone, it can't be one-sided. There has to be an exchange there. That would be that'd be an obsession, right? That'd be like stalking a guy. Right?
Okay, well, it's also not one-sided. Why do you feel God's not separating Himself from us?
So what makes me think it's one-sided is the problem of evil. Is that like gratuitous, if that's how you put it, suffering, and God's indifference to things like the experience of racism in the world, to things like the experience of diseases, the things like death, the things like war, you know, all of these terrible things that God seems to be indifferent about. He doesn't care. Like, for instance, a baby that's born with a disease that's gonna like suffer terribly and pass away young, it's not had a chance to have a relationship with God. So why is God like, why is there indifference there? Do you know?
Because God doesn't look at death the same way that humans do. God doesn't look at death the same way as humans do.
Yes, but the baby doesn't have a chance to have a relationship with God through Jesus because it doesn't have that capacity.
Well, I mean, the babies go to heaven and pass.
Yes, but like These are nice excuses for God, right? But the thing is, what I'm saying to you, the only reason you think God wants a relationship with you is your one-sided beliefs about what God is and how it operates. When reality is showing you something different. That God is, if he does exist, quite indifferent to the suffering of humans and animals and anything. Like
God,
it would appear that he doesn't
God,
actually care.
God gave us free will.
I don't
God,
think. I
our
don't think
power.
so. I don't think so.
Oh, not.
How not?
God gave us. Humans create government. Humans create
All
all
right.
these
So a thing,
things.
something like a disease or a natural disaster, has nothing to do with an individual's free will. That would literally be God's will, right, if he exists. Okay, so like being born with like some kind of serious heart condition or something like that, that's not your free will. Right? You could blame the parents, but then again, like some things are genetic and in no one's control. Okay, having a whole like village or a town ripped out of the ground in a hurricane or an earthquake, that is from nobody's free will. Okay, so God is clearly indifferent in
Also,
those scenarios.
okay, but okay, I understand what you're saying, but also God punishes as well.
Say again, sorry.
Also, God punishes as well.
Yes, but think about what you're saying here, right? An infant born with a disease, what is the punishment for?
The infant born with a disease.
What are you
Like,
talking about? Let me not say a disease, all right? It's born with a genetic defect or a mutation. But it does
okay,
happen that children are born with diseases, though, just so you know.
but okay, yes, but the purpose of us aren't. How can you be saying when it comes to like people are born with with diseases and certain things? How you be saying like do you feel like you feel like God he just creates people.
I'm just saying, right? If a God exists, right, what you said about him wanting to have a relationship with us clearly isn't true.
That's false. God
Well,
definitely wants to have
based on the reality of all of the suffering in the world, on or how people are born like completely like alienated from the society they live in, or not born in the right culture at the right time, all of those things would indicate that God's not setting it up so they can have a
but
interaction.
listen, God created everything and our created everything as omnipotent, omnipresent, right? So just like we would have the mind, and just like God created us in our mind, God knows knows that those things
So
that God.
this is a lot of there's a lot of spider webs happening there. It's cobwebs actually.
Cobwebs?
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
mean cobwebs?
It's just
Like, God has a
it's so many
God.
layers. It's so many layers of problems to work through, like to get you to understand what's being said. It's like, all right. So let's move on from this topic, right? Obviously, you think God wants to have a relationship with us, which presupposes his existence already, right? Let's go to that point. Right? Why should we think a God exists independently of us anyway?
Why should we think? Because of our reality. Because because the way history and now life works, we were created. Everything that has been created has a creator.
Well, yeah, that's obvious, but what makes you think that we're created and we have a creator?
Because we are here. Our bodies are created.
Not necessarily.
We, we were born.
Yeah. So you've heard of evolution, right?
Yeah.
So things evolve. No one's created them to be that way.
But okay, so how would evolution have come about?
Well, from like natural processes, like abiogenesis to speciation to evolution,
So from
environmental pressures,
nothing,
etc. Not from
from
nothing.
nothing to nothing.
No, no. All right. So if you think some right, so let's get to the bottom of this, right? Because now that's a really nice nugget there. Right? So the idea of something coming from nothing is a Christian belief fundamentally. It's called creatio ex nihilo in Latin. It means out of nothing. Okay, so if you think that there's a supernatural entity called God and he made space, time, and matter from absolutely nothing, then you think something can come from nothing. If you think no one created God and God has always been, you think something can come from nothing. Now, if I say to
Right.
you, all living life on this planet comes about from evolution, abiogenesis, a speciation, that is not me saying something comes from nothing. Okay, there's pre-existing material, which is matter, and the conditions produce the life. Right? So that's not me saying something comes from nothing. But if you believe God created everything, that's you saying something comes from nothing.
That's not something come from nothing because something is God.
Yes. So do you think someone created God?
No,
So then you think something comes from nothing.
God. There is no
You're
nothing.
you're saying God didn't come from anything else. No one created God. So God therefore comes from nothing. Okay? And if God is the only thing in existence that ever was and ever will be, then God couldn't just get matter from somewhere else. God had to produce matter from nothing also. So matter wasn't already there too. So then the matter, the space and the time came from nothing, like God came from nothing. Technically, based on what you believe.
I guess you say it came from nothing, but it's just always been there. So it's not. There
Ah,
wasn't
so
nothing. There was never. I don't believe in nothing. I don't
well,
believe
yeah,
that.
I too, I concur, right? There is no such thing as nothing. Right? Well, actually, let me not speak too hastily. Some philosophers would disagree about that. But as a layman, right, nothing is just a word that we use to point to the negation of specific things, okay? So yes, I don't think something can come from nothing either. But the point still stands. If you think that nothing created God, then you think God came from nothing. And if you think matter and space and time didn't exist before God, then you think something can come from nothing. Okay.
Okay, so basically, you think I call it God. I guess you call it space or matter. But matter create.
Go on.
So, but matter created. I guess matter or it's God. God created everything because everything has a purpose as well too. It's like
No, not everything has a purpose. That's just a human opinion, bro.
then I get you saying human. I guess you would say it's opinion. Everything
Yeah.
doesn't have.
So like what do you do in life? Like what's your like trade, or what do you study?
I'm going to school for mechanical engineering.
Brilliant, right? So as a mechanical engineer, right, the inner workings of classical music is essentially meaningless to you, right? It doesn't matter to you in your worldview.
I guess. I mean, it's a part of life. It's a part of experiences. It's not meaningless, but I would say to my specific major, no, it's not. It's meaningless to it.
So like how like classical music works and how it sounds and where and when it's enjoyed, it doesn't actually serve a purpose to you, right? Until it's relevant to you, until it actually matters in your life.
Yes.
So it doesn't have a purpose to you, but to someone
Mm,
that enjoys classical music, it has a purpose, right?
yes.
Maybe that was a really bad example, but when I say like, so when someone says everything has a purpose, that's a human opinion. That's something you're looking at and saying, "Oh, I can contextualize this thing as it serving a purpose." Like, or it's contingent. It requires this thing to happen for that thing to happen.
But
Right? But
okay,
that's an
so
opinion. That's an observation. It's a conclusion based on observation, but it's not actually a fact.
okay, so you don't feel like. So do you feel like no one? So you don't feel like everyone has a purpose or everything has a purpose?
No, I think that's an opinion you can hold, right? I don't know for certain if there is some grander scheme that gives everything purpose. I don't think I can know that, right? But when a
But
human
okay,
looks at something and they say, "Oh, this thing has a purpose," it's usually
but
them describing something, but it's not necessarily the
so
case.
what would be an example of something that doesn't have a purpose?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
I feel like
just
everything
because
does have.
I'm just because I'm limited in examples I can give, it doesn't mean
Right.
it
Okay,
defeats the point.
but true. But everything is experienced from human eyes. Everything is experienced, right? So our purpose, like the purpose, of everything
Subtly.
is to be at least be experienced. So that's kind of like I don't know. Things are created. Things are created to use. I mean, no one's created something to be. without a purpose of it being used.
Yeah, but that again, that assumes that there's a creator. Right now, as a
There is.
human, as a human,
I believe it's the creator.
yeah, I know that's your belief, right? But if you start out saying there is a creator, it's easy to say everything is a creation. But if we're trying to figure out if there is a creator, we can't just say everything is a creation. Do you know? That's what we're trying to figure out, whether there is a creator or not.
I've really figured that out.
Nah, we haven't figured that out, though. That's the problem.
You haven't figured that out.
All right, so I'll put it to you like this, right? Here's the ironic part about it. There could be a creator, but would that creator necessarily be the same type of biblical God you believe in, that apparently wants to have a relationship with you, that apparently came down as a man? Could that
Yes.
creator potentially be an alien or some demon or something else that's just not the God you believe in? Is that a possibility?
Not really, because the same action and the same rhetoric that's been
I would disagree, bro.
So how would
I
you
think it's quite possible that something could have created our current reality, even us as humans, and it still not be God. So
why
just
would
getting to a creator wouldn't necessarily give you the God you believe in anyway.
Alright, so why wouldn't that be why would it be anybody anything else but God?
Sorry?
You know, why can't it be God?
Why can't it be God?
Why can't I choose to believe
Right, so
that?
just as an example, right? You believe in Jesus Christ, right, or Yahweh, God of the Bible, like Jesus is daddy, yeah? Alright, but let's say one day humanity finds out, like the movie Prometheus, right, which I watched the other night, which is terrible. It's like terrible Christian propaganda. But right, let's say one day mankind figures out, right, oh wow, there's like this other species of aliens that live on this other planet in this other galaxy, and they're actually responsible for creating Earth and humans. Right? Where does that put your God in the schema now? It's either you're gonna have to say, all right, okay, God didn't make us, but now you're gonna have to say, all right, God made the aliens, and then the aliens made us. Right, you have to keep kicking God up the road, like kind of thing. Right, but what I'm trying to say is, it's possible that something else could have created us. It just does. It doesn't follow that the thing created us is necessarily the God you believe in.
I get what you said. I get you say that, but like, that's a pull. That's a stretch.
It's not as big a stretch as saying there's a ghost, a space ghost, ironically, that did everything because it felt like it and it did everything from nothing. It's not. It's not as big a stretch. Like, so the possibility of aliens existing out there is way higher than any religious god existing. It's way, way higher. Exactly. So that the stretch isn't that deep.
So you feel like it's basically just off everything, but it feels like you're basing things off of stuff that you don't know. I mean, based on, like, what I mean is, you're like basing things off of.
Your mic's muffling again, bro.
Off the evidence of what's going on and what's happening in the world now. If you read the Bible, you will see these things have been prophesied, things have been said since the beginning, like way back pre-Romans.
What things? What things have been prophesied?
All things like society, how confusion, all this stuff that runs rapid in the world, like wars and all this stuff.
Were those things happening back then?
Yes, they were going.
So it's not really a deep prediction, and it seems to just be a recurring pattern.
Okay.
So that's nothing special then. It's like saying, oh look, there's a tree. And in the future there'll be trees. Hooray! You know. It's not that deep then.
There's levels to this stuff, man.
Say again, like your mic is like really low.
There's levels to this stuff, man.
I do agree.
Like, war back then is not the same thing as the war right now.
Really? Well, fundamentally it's the same thing, right? It's just more technology.
Like a disagreement between, I guess, humans, yeah.
Yeah, it's just more technology. Now people send drones. Back then they sent arrows. It's just the technology that changes. People are still going to war over beliefs and ideologies. So it's not really changed. Humans are still suffering. It's not really changed.
Okay, from my sense, as a Christian, I believe that.
Bro, your mic's so bad.
I know, man. I'm trying to do something about it, bro.
It's like you like go in and out, pause.
I know. I gotta see. All right. So, anyway, basketball we were talking about.
Yeah, the fuck yeah. But
And y'all lost my train of thought, man. But I get you saying though. But do you at least understand my standpoint of it?
Not
You know,
really. No.
not really.
No.
So
I feel like you haven't really thought about why you believe the things you believe.
dude, okay, I guess.
Aston, you're funny, bro.
I mean, it just. So you okay? I don't know. But I also feel like, listen, bro. I feel like you need to talk to some professionals.
Yeah, say less, bro. I mean, I don't disagree.
Like, bro, you go on TikTok talking to people that don't know what the hell they talking about, and I also
No,
believe
but
that.
I've spoken to people who claim to be theologians. Apparently, there'll be a clip on my YouTube of that soon. So there's people who claim to apparently like be well knowledgeable that I've
I
spoken
like
to.
okay, like
But
I'm
yeah,
Christian.
but
I
like
also
professionals, yeah, I definitely could do with a psych evaluation, maybe.
okay, because I'm Christian. I think a lot about, and I believe my thoughts are right, but I can't really put everything in word how I think it.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah,
also,
you're not alone there, bro.
yeah, man. But, shoot, it's yeah, I believe Christ is, God.
But why?
Right?
That's what you need to really get
Why?
honest with answering. When did you start believing it, and why?
When did I start believing? Well, I grew up in the church.
There you go,
Uh,
right?
okay, but also, hear me out. Hear me out. I question things too, bro. But
But there are limits, aren't there?
there's limits, but I feel like everything leads me back to Christ.
Yeah, because of your cultural context. Now, say someone was to remove you from that cultural context. Let's say, like, I don't like, don't take this offensively, but like, say someone took you out of where you live. Just imagine, like, we over here we have council estates. Over there, you might have a project or something like that. So, say someone just plucks you out of poverty and obscurity one day, just puts you into a middle class life where all of your like base fundamental needs are taken care of. Now you're afforded plenty of time to think. You're afforded finances. You're afforded education, and that changes your cultural context of who's around you, what's around you, right?
Yeah.
That will change your belief systems or the types of questions you're going to start asking about your previous life.
Assuming I'm not okay. All right.
I'm not saying that you are like in some impoverished state. I'm not saying that all. There are plenty of rich Christians, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying your environment is already establishing the parameters of the questions you'll be willing to ask. Because it's like you've got peer pressure from your family, from your friends, from your community to be this person and fit in this patina, to fit in this case, all right? Be this type of person because we're all like this. And if you change, then you mess up the dynamic of all of us. Just like a child depends on their parents. If a child starts to view their parents different, then a child becomes alienated. Then they can no longer get sustenance. They can no longer survive in that system. So what you're allowed to ask, what you're allowed to do, is kind of already closed in already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that because I mean I was always a kid that asked the crazy questions, quote unquote crazy questions too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that ability could get beaten out of you.
yeah. I mean, I feel like you just learned. I mean, I think a lot of things like you revealed to me.
Say
Too.
again?
So I guess you're just saying like, I mean, there's no way for you to understand it without you experiencing it. You feel me? So like, I can tell
Maybe.
you, yeah, you can't understand without experiencing it, bro.
Yeah, but
But
the thing is, right? If you were taken out of the Christian context, let's just say you were Hindu, right? And you're
yeah,
talking to me, right? And I'm like you, I'm a Christian, right? But you're a Hindu and you're telling me, oh, like, you just have to experience it from a Hindu perspective. You, hearing it from a Hindu perspective, wouldn't believe it.
nah, so much. I wouldn't say you have to experience it in a Christian. Uh,
That's what I'm talking about. That's the cultural bias.
I
You
understand.
you wouldn't accept that experience coming from a Muslim, a Hindu, a Sikh, a Buddhist, a Jain, whatever. You wouldn't accept that experience. You'd say no. It only matters if it's in the context of the thing I already believe. So obviously,
Yeah.
just the experience doesn't matter.
It's just I say, bro. That's how it works, bro. If you God will show you and lead you into the right direction. I
I
mean,
mean, you could think that.
I can't beat that. You're right. But I mean, everybody don't get it. Everybody's not led to the right direction because they follow things that are the world of things that's in the system that has been set place. Like,
I wish
where,
your mic was a little bit louder, bro. I can't hear you
all right,
properly.
so I'm about to go outside. 1 second.
Just need to hold your
One
phone
second.
still, maybe.
Hold up, 1 second. I'll be back. Nah, 1 second.
I appreciate you, Tyler.
All right. So basically, what I'm saying, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
All right, that's great. All right. So basically,
Lou said it works when you're not eating your mic.
all right.
Like,
So
carry on.
can you refresh about what we were talking about?
What? You start eating the mic again?
I said, all right. So we were talking about how. Fuck. Who were we talking about again?
I can't remember. All right, no, you're saying I have to experience
Wow,
it.
bro.
You're saying I have to experience it to
Yeah.
know it.
Yes. To know. Okay, and you were saying because imagine so from a Hindu or from like a Islamic it's like perspective you would see it from those point of view.
I'm saying you wouldn't be able to accept that if someone from another faith told you what they're saying is true because they experienced it. You wouldn't believe them.
But okay, so back to Christianity. I believe Christianity more than I believe Hindu, Muslim, and other religions because other religions spoke of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're missing the
And
point.
I'll give you saying, all right, okay. Miss this point. But the reason why I do it from a Christian perspective, I say I believe from a Christian perspective is because I believe that other religions speak of Jesus Christ. So, but Jesus Christ always
Yeah.
speaks of God.
So look,
And
all right. Let's just say a non-religious person comes to you, right? And they said, "Oh, last night I experienced this crazy thing that I just can't put into words, and I know it was a god, but I know it's not the God of the Bible." Would you believe them?
no,
You see, that's what I'm saying to you. So when you tell me someone
okay,
who doesn't believe what you believe already, right, clearly just you reporting your experience isn't enough to convince someone, because you wouldn't even believe that from someone else.
if from someone else's, okay, I give you a saying.
Okay.
Well, maybe I believe it's maybe me. I'm not really bad explaining things, but I give you the saying 100%.
There was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember now.
Okay. But, yeah, man. That's all I really had to say, man. But I believe Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, God, don't follow God. And only thing with me,
I mean, you could help Christianity a lot better if you fix your mic.
bro,
No
I'm
one can hear what
talking
you're
through the
talking about.
phone. I have my phone. This is devil trying to mess with my mic, man.
Yeah.
Devils don't want me
See,
talking about
see how
God,
the
bro.
devil gets the blame, but God made the devil. How?
God made the devil.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how does the devil get the blame then? It's God's fault. Talking about.
God, God made God made Lucifer. God made God it's sin. Sin what changed Lucifer
All right, bro.
from. All right, bro. I ran out, bro. I ran out.
You tried. It's alright. You tried.
Y'all going, man. I tried, bro.
You tried,
I tried
bro.
to explain it, bro, but you got it.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes.
All right, that
But
was like half an hour, man. It's a good chat, bro. I appreciate it. All right, does anyone else want to come up and just do this mission? You tried doing that. Oh yes, I was trying to figure out what it is your organization is about, bro. It's a bit confusing. So you've got some very lofty goals from what I saw in that video. Like I must say, I thought to myself that's damn near impossible. Ren's. That's not really my argument at all, bro. I think the religious side of the table just doesn't have that kind of explanatory power over the universe. So as more information comes out, they'll just do what's called God of the gaps. They'll say, "Oh, but we don't know this yet, so that must be God." It's what they've been doing for 2,000 odd years already. So it's part of the same pattern. It's not like, again, I wouldn't care to find out that there is some entity behind all of this. The point would still remain that humans are the ones that invented these gods and the religions they built around these gods. That would still remain a fact. Well, at least from my perspective, anyway. What's up, Garrett? How you been, bro? I know, it's crazy, right? The room is like 29.5 degrees right now. It's been really bad. But it's not that bad. Like, I felt worse summers. We're not quite there yet, but let's hope it doesn't get much hotter than this. Who's Grace? Yeah, it's definitely hot. It's a terrible time to be stuck in. Bank holiday weekend as well. Sucks, man. But at least I get to talk to you lot. UK girlies, yeah. But I swear it's like hot in Australia all the time, so so that's just regular to you. Oh, there's Grace. Look at that. Speak of the devil. I'm joking. I don't think I've got that kind of skill center, or I'm not really a debater in that way. I will have a conversation, but I still do kind of hold to the view that like real debates should be for academics. Like they should come to present information, and people should leave having learned something. You know, that's my opinion. But like it just like as an average person having a conversation with another average person, we can have an interest in kind of back and forth. But on a professional level, I'm just not trained in that kind of way. Yeah, but it's like so the reality is like in professional debating, it's less about the actual points you're making. Like specifically online. Online is like a spectacle. It's like a commercialized version of debate. So again, I might just be having a romanticized view of it, but in my mind, like a real debate should be between academics or at least like people very steeped in politics for some reason or some ideology. So there should be supporting evidences. How it is on the internet is more about rhetoric and tactics, right? It's more about like crowd control, dissing people, slights, all these kinds of things are more important on an entertainment level than an education level. Yeah, there definitely are academic atheists, but they're just not popular. It's like if you think about how Jordan Peterson started out on the internet versus what Jordan Peterson is now, you could see he's bought into the power game of it rather than just like the edification of it. So yeah, so there are also people on the atheist side that have become like that as well, but they're just not as prominent as a character like Peterson is. Exactly what, right? So of course, as a normal person, I'm gonna have arguments with people all the time. Right? It's just that's normal. But how it functions isn't like an official debate kind of way. I'm not adverse to it, but I just don't know if I could commit myself to that kind of way of doing things. It was 90 degrees. What country are you in, Chop? Oh, you're in the States. Yeah, global warming's effed, bro. We're all gonna be cooked. Gonna be literally cooked. Alright, so there should be an NPC here. Ooh, that was a glitch. Does anyone want to come up and have a chat? I agree, DQ. I agree. Yeah, sun without breeze is terrible. Humid sun, like sunny days, are terrible. Yeah. I mean, again, like on the surface level, I agree with that word, but in some like weird, greater good way, just like a really shitty performative debate could actually wake up just one random individual in the world who's just an onlooker or just hears one idea through the whole shitty debate, and that changes things for them. So from that point of view, it's good. But in general, it's like you can just, like, you're on TikTok right now. You could scroll through TikTok and listen to any Tom, Dick, and Harry just having an argument about things that matter and things that don't matter. But why most people stay is the entertainment factor. It's not really to gain insight. He was wobbly. Keep moving. He was wobbly. Alright, we've been there. Yeah, I do too, Lou. Don't get me wrong, but I do know sometimes that I'm only staying for a spectacle because it's like watching a car crash like in slow motion. It's gonna be fun, even like, well, I guess not in the real world. But saying that, I actually saw a car crash at work the other day. Right, I was on break and I was just about to leave. Right, and I said to myself, "Nah, I'm gonna stay a bit longer." And then what do I see? A woman trying to overtake another woman just crashes right into her, right in front of me. I was like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, just the spectacle of it makes you makes you stick around. But if you get to learn something from it, it's a bonus, I say. But again, that goes back to what I'm saying. When academics have a debate, there's a spectacle, but there's also a clear agenda to teach something. You know? What's up, DJ? Like, but when it's just a TikTok debate about nothing, essentially, it's purely for the entertainment. So sometimes, like you see the Professor Dave and Tor stuff like that, can be a bit rough as well. I swear I've been down there already. All right, so yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream soon. Just run around in circles. No. Yes. Should be pots down here. What do you mean, DJ? So you can request up if you want to. Resident Evil. Oh man, I do want to play that. 9 isn't it? I haven't been able to play that yet. It just completely reminded me about that. I guess you could say that, Senator. What was you wanted to talk about earlier on before I ended the stream? Because that was going in an interesting direction as well. Subnautica, is that like a sea survival type of game? I think I may have seen that. Do you know, I think they may have actually gave that out. Yes, it's a PS4. Let's see. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, look, there it is. Subnautica Below Zero. They gave that out on PlayStation Store a couple months back. Never tried it though. Oh, there's a new one. What is it actually about though? In a DLC. We're in this place here. We shouldn't be in this place though. This is like late game. The plan was to restart the DLC and do it properly, but I ended up streaming all the way through it, so I just messed up again. I'm not sure. Bioshock is another 1 and 2 I still haven't finished. I just got stuck, so I just bailed. I appreciate you, Centaur. Yeah, what was it that you wanted to talk about? Can black people be racist? What was your opinion on it though? You heard mine. I never actually played Ratchet and Clank. I don't think I owned a copy of it, but it never worked. Saying that, actually just got back into playing my PS2 as well. Managed to get Matrix Path of Neo. But I started playing it, and man, it could not keep my attention for like 10 minutes. So bad. But there are good parts of it, like from nostalgia thinking, but actually playing it, it's so bad. The Case for Christ. People have recommended that before. But you see, the thing is, right? Although me personally, I don't actually believe Jesus existed, I do acknowledge the existence of a guy called Yeshua as like a regular dude. But I don't think the existence of that guy will ever prove him being a god. I think people lean on that guy called Yeshua to support the mythologies, and I think it's a little bit disingenuous because they know that the guy is just a guy if he existed. So I think that's what I think about the matter. But I'm not sure what the actual whole book's about. But based on the title, I would assume it's a case for Christ being more than a guy, right? Alright, anyways, let's just run through. Try. What kind of movies and animes do you watch already? Ah, that reminds me. There was one I watched a while back. It was kind of spooky. Ergo Proxy is a really like quirky anime you should watch, right, if you like philosophy. I was just like starting to learn about some of the concepts when I first watched it. I'm gonna rewatch it. But the first time I watched it, it was really spooky. It was hard. There's a lot of stuff that was hard to understand. But Ergo Proxy is pretty deep. But like general anime that I'm actually watching right now is Dorohedoro season 2. It's called Ergo ERGO Proxy. It's pretty deep. But general anime that I'm actually watching is Dorohedoro. I don't really get time for movies anymore, but I did actually buy 4 DVDs the other day, just randomly. So I bought Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Watchmen, and one Jet Li movie. But yeah, I don't really get to watch movies much. They don't really hold my attention these days either. You like the normie anime? Oh no, those are bangers as well. That whole list is are just pure bangers on that list, go man. I wouldn't even say they're normie. They're like top tier already. Like normie anime is like a reincarnated as some weird thing. Like that's normie anime. It's like Pokemon or some shit. Dragon Ball Super, maybe. Those ones you named are pretty top tier, bro. In terms of like writing and animation, they're pretty up there. Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! That's normie type shit. Yeah, like, but the irony is, growing up, I didn't even think of Pokemon as a anime. It's only till I became a full adult that I realized, oh, Pokemon is technically an anime. I always just thought of Pokemon as a cartoon because it just the same as Digimon, same as Yu-Gi-Oh! Like all of those at that time, they were just another cartoon on cartoon TV. You know, it's daytime TV. So I didn't really consider them as anime, but they are technically. But yeah, Pokemon was whack though, man. As a kid, it was great, but it's whack, right? It's trash. Like all of those games like all of those shows that became like commodified Bandai toys and cards and shit. They're all whack. They're terrible. Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever else one. They're all terrible. Now Guyver, that's old school Matthew. You know ball, bro. Biosuit. Used to have a science teacher that was really into Guyver. And every time you go to his class, you'd see drawings of it on the wall. Guyver's old school, bro. Guyver's like, I think that's the end of 80s, early 90s. So it's still part of that ultra violence era of anime. which is still visually like super appealing. It's like super aesthetic. I saw the movie as a kid, right? But I don't know who made it. The movie was a little bit corny. It's like Power Ranger. It's like Power Ranger-y. It's like an American made. But I don't know who made it. I've heard of Paprika. Never seen it. I do, but I don't know how to use it, so I don't use it. I do have one, but it's hassle. It's like, it's technically not a social media. It's like managing a website. It's like a forum on its own, which is kind of long. Say I'm a boomer. I'll take it. Oh yeah, like the movie was straight up Power Rangers. It's like acrobatic kung fu stuffs, which again was great as a kid, but as an adult, it's like I can't watch this shit. Now the anime, every now and again, I'll still watch a bit of it, just nostalgia purposes. Another great anime. Well, back in the day, right, we used to call them manga because that's the brand that we was introduced to in the UK. So manga is actually the drawing, it's the comic. And anime is the animation of the drawing, right? But we used to call them manga because when they used to come on sci-fi, you would tape them. Manga symbol would be before everyone, or when you go to the VHS store, it would be called manga. You know? But like another banger from that era is 3x3 Eyes. It's the same kind of late 80s, early 90s style. It's a pretty sick story as well. Black Lagoon is modern though. It's like Black Lagoon's not that old. Black Lagoon came out on Netflix, I think, the first time I saw that. I don't know, how old are you, Lou? Geometric pattern. It's like it's black and red with the manga symbol in it. I actually got like Akira posters on my wall. Like, I think one of them has it on it. No, it doesn't actually. But yeah, Akira. There's that. If you haven't seen that, you should watch that. It's up Titanium. Cowboy Bebop is surprisingly good. But what makes Cowboy Bebop good is the soundtrack. Like, the story is not that great. It doesn't tie up very well. But the soundtrack is killer. But the story doesn't tie up very well at the end. It's like too much loose ends to it. Like, you can tell they thought they were going to be on TV for a lot longer than they were. So they never really got to finish up all of the bits between the stories. Like with Spike and with my man that runs the ship and all that. It's good, but it just seems unfinished. The movie was okay as well. Rainbow Dark, bro. What the hell are you talking about? You just been in the chat rambling since earlier on. Are you a bot, bro? Now, I've seen clips of Battle Angel on YouTube recently. That's one I haven't got to watch. But you see, the problem is, every time I see like these new guys that make these shorts of old anime to go and watch, it looks good in the shorts that they show you. Then you go watch it, and it's like, it's super sleazy. It's like these unnecessary scenes. It's just like, like this may have been okay back then, but this isn't okay now, kind of thing. And it happens every time. It's like, I didn't want to see this in a cartoon, you know. What do you mean, Aston? What are you saying? Yeah, it's like, I guess in the context of the time when it came out, it was somewhat permissible, but it's like, yeah, this is a bit too perverted. There's still a lot of that kind of perversion in mainstream anime now, but not as bad as it used to be. But that being said, the cultural context of how they were living in Japan is that pornography was essentially banned, it's prohibited, so they would have it animated. But that's not too far from ancient pornography, right? So our ancestors used to draw pictures of coitus on the cave walls, right? So you can actually find, like, I made a video about this on my YouTube like ages ago, like why you like anime, but you can actually find cave paintings of, you know, men and women getting it in, drawn by cavemen. So leading all the way up to the invention of the camera in like the late 1800s, right? all pornography was painted and drawn. It's just whether you had the skill to make it look realistic or not. So that cultural context to the anime is okay in that way, but actually having to sit through it, a lot of it's ultra violent as well. It's like, it's like a bit, should you be watching this kind of stuff? Another reason why I don't like Guts, right? And that kind of shit. But anyways, we're getting way too. Yes, it's not that wild though, right? It's not that wild. It's actually, it's superhuman. It's like that point we were talking about earlier on, how like the religious conservative view is the actual perversion of humanity in itself, right? The obsession with purity, like conservative chasteness, right, is the actual perversion of who we are. To say like, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, but to have sex is like, you shouldn't be doing it for pleasure. You should only be doing it to procreate. Aquinas was like, no, you do it, if you're doing it for pleasure, you're doing it as an animal. Or like philosophers like Zizek and then like Alanka would say it's the opposite, or Hegel via Zizek would say it's the opposite. To do it to procreate is animal. To do it for pleasure and then build various levels of fantasy on top of that, which is like surplus enjoyment, is the human essence. That's the ultimate ability that we have, is that extra, right? Not the animal that's underneath it. But yeah, I'm not again, obviously I'm not permitting all of the weird stuff. So I'm not permitting all that. I'm just saying to try and like stuff it in this nice neat box is in a sense not in accordance with nature, because nature isn't like that. Nature doesn't care. Nature is raw, right? So in this book called Seven Types of Atheism, the guy has this bit on a dude called Marquis de Sade, right? This guy, based on how he tells this guy's story, he's just like an ultra hedonist, right? But he was having some wild times, and like, I want to say ancient, but like a long time ago, centuries ago in France and shit. Now, although this view is misogynistic, eventually it goes both ways, right? So he held this view that like all right, so there's a way to say this without coming across crazy, right? But basically, he was trying to legitimize polygamy, essentially, and he was trying to say basically sexual activity should be communal. Not like of course they did do orgies as well, like the Greeks, all of them, French, all of them did orgies and shit. But he's saying that you owning that woman as your property is nonsense. That woman belongs to the community, e.g. that man belongs to the community, like in a weird kind of cultic / Rasputin way, but in the same time like a culturally liberal way too. It's an interesting view. Not saying it's right. Not saying it's right at all. I'm just saying there's other ways to look at these things than the way that we currently look at these things. That's what I'm saying, right? But me personally, no, I wouldn't want to be the communal or end up with the communal. But for some people, it works, right? But to try and fit those people who like it that way into this nice, neat box is us trying to tame nature. We're trying to put a lid on nature when nature doesn't actually give a shit. Nature is about gratification, whether it can be considered as suffering or like. So from their point of view, the only evil in the world is I forget what it's called. It's a type of suffering, but it's to cause people suffering. That is the only evil from their point of view, like the Marcus de Sade kind of view, right? There's a word for it, though. But outside of that, the whole way that nature functions is just ultimately hedonistic. It's fulfilling needs, fulfilling desires, from doing the worst things possible to doing the best things possible. Nature doesn't care. But we as humans kind of like add this extra shit on top, which is good sometimes, but it's not always good. I forget the word. There's a word for it, man. There's a word when you use like to cause intentional suffering. There's a specific word. No, I didn't see anybody. Nah, I'm not into that kind of stuff. So, did you just hear my critique about vintage anime and why I don't like Guts? Like, come on, bro. But like, so yes, culturally, I would be against it, because of the connotations of what comes out of that, and then there's also like the problems with how they depict minors and shit like that. So I would be against it, but at the same time, for me to say that those people are just ultimately immoral and sick and twisted is playing that same game of trying to pervert nature. No, that's all I'm trying to say. But no, am I going to sit down and watch hentai? No, I'm not, right? But if you want to do that in the confines of your own house, just do that. Just don't bring it in front of us. Right? I will live. Right, so which person is Oppo? Oh, that's Oppo. Nice to meet you, Oppo. Just Centaur's tried it, but you should have heard the critique. But anyways, how did we get here? Anime. Nah, it's not malice. There's a word for it. That's what I was trying to remember. I can't really remember the word, but it's just like saying harm, right? Suffering is like the outcome of harm, but there's a word for it. So like their view is like that is the only evil. But again, who's telling you to be like Marcus de Sade? And on the other end of that spectrum, on the religious side, you've got your Monster. There's a dude called Monster. Yeah, he was in some effed up shit, right? And I think that was only in the 1600s, right? So it wasn't that long ago. And this is like foundational European history stuff. Yeah, so it's not that. So it's right. So yeah, you could say. So suffering is the experience of the action, right? You could say there is physical suffering, but suffering is fundamentally psychological, based on experiencing something. But if that thing you experience is being done with intention, then that's the evil that they're kind of pointing at. They're saying that is the only evil. But the irony is he contradicts himself later, because he's saying if he wants to, the Marcus de Sade guy saying he wants to be like nature. So he's conflicted, because he's saying himself like, I don't like this part of nature, but he's down with it. So he's saying if nature would see it fit that I have to unalive XYZ, do all these terrible things, I would do it anyway, because nature does it. And if nature does it, I must do it as I'm part of nature. But he still views that intentional, like, causing of suffering as the only evil. I forget the word for it. It's an important word. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm undecided on all of that personally, but it's just interesting ideas. Seek Jesus. Everyone's trying to seek Jesus, bro. Oh, I keep doing that. But yeah, me personally, I don't think of evil as some like unique substance in the world. I don't see a reason to think that. I think by definition, evil is only dependent on what your moral ideal is. Anyway, so whatever your moral ideal is, whatever goes against that is the evil to you. But as like a general evil, I'm not really sold on that being a thing. Because again, it's like the evil relativism has struck again. But yeah. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna leave in like 2 minutes. Yeah, they wouldn't be in all matters, but there's always going to be matters that most humans converge on, and they usually have to do with like a certain type of suffering anyway. So that's gonna happen. In that same way that like the egoist who wants to be able to do whatever he wants also needs to want for other people to be able to do whatever they want. Right? So, and at a certain point, even if his will was to do completely atrocious things, if it encroaches on someone else's will, he has to say, like, I'm not going to be able to do that because it's a contradiction. Right? In order for me to live out my egoism, Jane needs to be able to live out her egoism. So they kind of like circle back into a type of egalitarianism anyways, or a type of liberalism. What's up, Sincere? I don't think it's entirely based on perspective. Yes, there's an objective format that we're both playing on, but most of it does depend on your own personal context. Yeah, but like a true hedonist wouldn't even bother with justification. They'd just say I did it because I wanted to, or I did it because I could. Right? And to me, as sad and as shady as that sounds, that would really be a true form of liberation. There was no deeper meaning behind why I did. I just acted, and the act itself was pure. You know, whether the outcome is good or bad, that's almost an impossible state to reach. I just acted. You know. To me, anyways, it's hard to imagine. So yeah, like, a true egoist wouldn't even bother with this, but like, okay, it's because I wanted to. What days do I go live? That's a good question, you know. I don't want to make a schedule, bro. I barely even wanted to come live this weekend at all. True. Spam. Ah, man. Still 29.5 degrees. So it's probably not going to cool down to like after 10. I'm surprised in the last like at least half an hour of just yapping, no one has decided to come and talk. I bet like as soon as I'm about to end it, someone wants to come with the most deep Phil Burrow type conversation possible. Like, yeah, let me just save it to the end. You can't call in. Why? Maybe you haven't had an account long enough. Yeah, that's probably why. It's a shame. Like, all the other platforms, apart from Discord, I think, make you pay to do like a conference type of call. Well, now you have the account. Maybe if you leave it for a while or get some people to follow you, it'll be easier for you to call in next time. Maybe. Yeah, that's right, bro. But on the other hand of that, Lou, right? If you're not paying, then you're the product, right? That's the other problem. If it's free, that means you're the product. You're what's being sold. Could be your time, could be your data. That's the bloody problem with the internet. Heard I forget his name, but he was on Star Talk yesterday, and he was making a point about how the whole philosophy behind free software ends up working against like the pirate world, because it ultimately just makes Google bigger, because Google is like the search engine that distributes all of the data runs through. So even though you're trying to avoid creating oligarchies, like, or tech oligarchies anyways, you kind of end up inadvertently creating one. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm pro free software all day as well, but it's an interesting point. So even though we try to find workarounds, we still kind of end up contributing to the same problems we're trying to avoid. It's just kind of crazy. You found all my YouTube channels. Are you sure? Are you sure? All right. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not actually right. So look, there is some content that I've worked on that is like I've really put effort into, but it just doesn't perform well. So it's not rewarding to do beyond just the gratification of being able to make it. Like shooting, editing, like thinking about what you want to talk about. There's a lot of effort for no views, so it's not really rewarding for me to do it that way either. But most of the content that is on the Culture Crack channel is really just experimental, sporadic. It's not like focused in any way. So don't blame me for not watching it really. It's just at the right time the right person will see it. But there is some stuff like I just have on private and unlisted that I would like to show, but the algorithm just doesn't push it. So it's just nah, don't do that. Don't do that. That'll make it worse. Need corruption to become famous. Oh wow. Nah, like that's the problem with it. It has to be organic, right? If you the way these algorithms work on TikTok and on YouTube or like any other kind of platform like this, they build like an ideal customer, right? So they'll keep sending it to what they think is who they think is watching your content, right? And if your content turns out to be bots or hate watchers, then that's who they're gonna keep sending it to, and then they're not actually gonna watch it, and then they're just gonna push it down the algorithm even more. So it's a vicious cycle. But anyways, yeah, don't watch it. It's embarrassing, right? That being said, I'm gonna end the stream now for a while. Anyways, maybe we'll be back on tomorrow. No, I do appreciate you, Lou. Come and turn up the streams. I appreciate that. All right, folks. Happy Hanukkah or whatever. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna end it here. So take care. Enjoy the weekend. Try and get some sleep in this heat.